Hello, everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Network for your Thursday night special. It's Mark, and it's Sam, and it's the American Motorsport Association Black Magic Studios Grand National Series. And Sam, we're here at one of the shortest active speedways on a major league tour. It's Martinsville, and you know what that means? Sam,
Chaos.
I am getting you a hot dog and a grandfather clock, brother.
No, I like the chaos thing. Hot dogs give me heartburn.
Even footlong.
The way AMA's been going lately, the way the AMA's been going, they've been giving me heartburn too.
Even footlong hot dogs that have been deep fried.
Foot long corn dogs. You'll have to ask Mike Rigney about that.
Yeah, so no footlong hot dogs here.
You know, in Richmond, they have foot long deep fried foot long corn dogs.
Yeah, on a stick. And so here we are at virtual Martinsville. It's a very picturesque place. One of the quirks of this track, and you can kind of see it, the railroad track that runs behind the backstretch. We'll visit more on that tomorrow night. This is the oldest active, continuously used active track on the NASCAR schedule. It was built in 1947. When did they pave it, Sam? Sometime in the 70s?
Actually, it was the late 60s.
Late 60s. Gotcha. The
I'm not mistaken, right.
Gotcha, late 60s. The corners were concreted in 1976, and then they were repaved in 2004. And this track has some of the most unique traditions in all of racing. One of those is the aforementioned hot dog. The other is the trophy, Sam. What do you get if you win a race here?
Well, if you win here, it is the exclusive grandfather clock, and that grandfather clock company is just right there. It is a local business, and it is a treasured memento for winning at this particular track. To answer your early question, I look back through my notes. Actually, 1955 was Martinsville was paved.
Yeah, so it wasn't dirt very long. I knew it. I mean, they were all dirt at one point, but this one, it got paved fairly early on. It's originally owned by the family of H. Clay Earls, who operated the Speedway for a long time. It was purchased by NASCAR, so this track was never owned by ISC, which was NASCAR's track arm. It was purchased by NASCAR and the France family itself in 2004 and run that way ever since. You can see kind of the unique nature of it. It's very much a paperclip. The description of Martinsville that I've always found most accurate, Sam, 2 drag strips and 2 U-turns.
No, there's no question. There's a lot of truth to that. It's precarious at its best. I've always said there's a term. When I was growing up in church, they used to tell you they don't ever pray for patience because God will make you wait. And Martinsville is a perfect example of a place that you're never going to find enough patience.
No, and so
because you're going to wait and wait and wait.
Well, and to kind of go along with that point, this is a track much like Bristol, where we're going to see some hot tempers tonight. It's a good thing that I have the voice chat off, because this track has been known to produce fisticuffs both in real life and virtually. Wasn't it
and
here?
Verbal assaults.
Yeah, verbal assaults. Wasn't it here that Ricky Rudd someone tried to fight Ricky Rudd, which that's not an intelligent thing to do.
Actually, that's an interesting point. But that actually happened in North Wilkesboro, and Ricky Rudd had gotten into Dale Earnhardt and wrecked him in order to win the race. He goes on to win the race. And then what happened was that there were so many people wanting to get their hands on Ricky Rudd after the event.
Didn't they have to hide him?
Actually had to hide him in a trunk of a car to get him out of the facility, because there were so many fans that wanted to get their hands on him for wrecking Earnhardt Sr. So that was actually at North Wilkesboro.
I was thinking about later in the Wood Brothers car, although I do remember that one too. They had to put him in the trunk of Larry McReynolds' rental car to get him out of the place because the angry Earnhardt fans wanted a piece of his hide, and they weren't exactly calmed down by the Intimidator's comments on the radio or ESPN that afternoon either. I remember watching that race as a kid. That was a lot of fun. But we're going to see a lot of similar stuff here at Martinsville tonight. Just kind of give our fans the lay of the land. It's a half mile, 0.52 miles. We are doing stages tonight, 60 and 120 laps. We'll go 250 laps or 131 miles in total. The winner last year, Frederic Ladoucier, fastest qualifying lap is owned by Kyle Heath, 19.369. The most total passes, 26. Cody Hemingway in April of 2024. And Kyle Heath won the fall race here last year by 3.2 seconds, and that's a healthy margin of victory here at Martinsville. Kyle Heath and Kendall Paul are the past pole award winners, and the aforementioned Ladoucier and Kyle Heath are the past winners. Neither one of those are in the field, so we're going to see a first-time AMA winner here tonight. This race does mark halfway to the end of Season 1, so we're splitting the season into threes here in the AMA Grand National Series. This is halfway to the end of Season 1. Top 6 in the playoffs will be locked into the playoffs, and that top 6 consists of Greg Evans with 2 wins, Michael Moquin, Kendall Paul, Edwin James, and Kyle Heath with 1 win apiece. Now, Kyle Heath, by rule, has to make the rest of the starts in order to be locked in, and he can't miss more than 3. Tonight would be the 3rd, and I do not believe that Kyle Heath is in the field. After him, Adam O'Brien is 4 points above the cut line, Ryan O'Donohue 4 points below, and Sean Merriman 26 points in arrears. And just so everybody's got it circled on their calendar, the 2nd annual AMA Interstellar 500 at Indianapolis. Open wheels, land rocket. Sam, you're going to be there, aren't you? We're putting you in a car. I'll let you drive my car.
You're putting me in a car?
I'll let you drive my
car. Surely that has to be the pace car.
I will let you drive my car. I'll drive the pace car. You race my car. That is April 25th and April 26th.
That will not happen.
Oh, come on, Sam. You probably do better than me.
I could not even fit in the driver's seat of your car.
Oh, come on now. It's not that tiny. April 25th qualifying, April 26th the race. TV package to be announced. And Sam, we are right up on qualifying. We got about a minute left. Van Halen is about played out. We're getting ready to rock and roll. We'll flash the practice speeds up on the screen. Ryan O'Donohue right now owns the fastest lap. Kyle Heath has snuck into the lobby. Kyle Heath, second quick. Greg Evans.
Interesting.
Yeah, Greg Evans. That's a huge surprise to see him third fast. Jeffrey Hyatt, J.D. Daniels round out your top 5. I was being kind of facetious. Do I need to hold up a sign when I'm being sarcastic, Sam?
Yes, absolutely.
Gotcha. I will.
You need to hit the buzzer. Hit the buzzer. You need to get you a sarcasm buzzer.
A sarcasm buzzer?
Yes. So every time that you have a quib, that you can hit that buzzer. So we'll know that's absolutely. There we go. Love it.
All right. So every time I'm sarcastic, we'll give Sam this evening. That sound will denote sarcasm. Heaney, Cofield, Moquin, Kendall Paul, Trevor Benz round out your top 10. He's got 30 cars in here tonight, Sam, as we head for qualifying.
Wow. And typically, when you get to tracks like road courses or short tracks like this, and this is the slowest track on the circuit. When you get to these tracks, a lot of drivers just will not turn out just simply because they don't have the patience. They just don't want to endure if it's a caution fest or if they might be knocked out early of the event. They just don't want to deal with it, and so this may be a track that they opt out of when they come and race here. So to have 30 cars at Martinsville is a tremendous testimony to AMA and the administrative team in putting together a field of drivers that have the heart and the determination to make it happen.
Absolutely right, Sam. We're going to go ahead and show the qualifying effort of Kendall Paul just to kind of give everybody that's watching here an idea of what this looks like. We'll get on the nose of Kendall Paul. 117 miles an hour down the front stretch, hard on the brakes into turn 1. Here he goes into turn. He's already on the backstretch. You don't stay on the gas for very long, do you, Sam?
No, sir. Throttle control was really king in a lot of these intermediate tracks, but Martinsville will test you in every area of your driving skill. Steering wheel input, brake input, throttle control. It will test you on your sensory expectations about watching the car in front of you, making sure that you're braking and giving the car in front of you enough time. There's just so many things that come into play here at Martinsville.
Yes, there are. On board now with Brian Sharp. We'll let you watch right out of the passenger seat for Brian Sharp. I don't know if I'd want to be his passenger.
Dale gave us the ride there in his car. It was amazing.
Yes, he did. And that shows you just how easy it is to get greedy on your last lap, and you can light the rear tires up. Looking at James Hodgson. Here's James, and we'll show it from outside of the 88. A little high there in turns 1 and 2. I believe this is his first lap, though.
A little high exit.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
sir.
he's just getting it warmed up, don't you
This
think?
is his first lap, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
This is
sir.
his first lap. Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, at Martinsville in 3 and 4 on my out lap, I'm almost all the way to the wall.
Much more tidy.
Get a big run to the start finish. Yeah.
Much
this
more
is
tidy there.
Much more tidy. Yeah. But he has a high entry. He really has a high entry right there. A lot that will change during the race, because if he enters that high in the race, he's going to get, some people are going to think that they can take advantage of that.
Very true. Not many people taking advantage of him, though. In qualifying, he goes to 9th quick. How about Donald Green? We haven't talked a lot about Donald this year. He's had quite a bit of bad luck. Greg Evans goes to the pole, and that's just shocking to me. I am shocked that Greg Evans would be on the pole here, Sam. Shocked.
I'm waiting. Hey!
There's Donald Green, though. He's in the number 6. We haven't talked about him a lot in a lot of good ways this season, but a good looking hot rod. He comes across the line. Donald Green.
In my opinion, Donald is the quintessential iRacing kind of guy. He shows up. He wants to do well. He works on his craft. He owns up to his own mistakes, but he also wants to continue to get better, and he shows up week after week to do so. And even there, he really forced it into the corner. But he just has a lot of passion for the hobby. He really does.
Yeah, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with Donald Green. There's nothing wrong with him being here. He's always turns himself out. Always turns himself out well. He gives a good effort, and I'd like to see Donald Green get a solid run into the top 10, top 5. Heck, I'd love to see him win one of these things. I think that'd be fabulous. We do have about 45 seconds left.
I don't think we'd be able to keep him calm and Chad if he did.
No, and I'll tell you what, I don't know that we'll be able to keep Greg Evans calm if he wins another pole. He is such a high-strung guy. But Greg right now, 19,391 has the pole. O'Donohue, Heath, Benz.
I'm going to tell you that in these conditions, that is fast.
Yeah, it is. And
in these conditions, those are some fast speeds.
Yeah, speaking of the conditions, 72 degrees in the air, 79 on the track. We've got wind out of the northwest at 5 miles an hour. We got a lot of clouds. Not a whole lot of sunshine here at Martinsville. The track is going to stay nice and cool. And I don't know if that works to the advantage or disadvantage of these guys, to be honest with you, Sam, because to be fair, it takes some doings to warm these tires up at a place like Martinsville. But guess what we're going to do? Regardless of the temperature and regardless of anything else, there pops out the sunshine, and we're getting ready to go racing, Sam.
Oh, that's exciting to watch these cars hit the grid. It's always one of my favorite things about racing, especially stock car racing, is lining up on the grid. I think that's why I appreciate the World of Outlaws so much when they do the 4 wide, or Indy, the big race in Indy when they actually start the race 3 wide. The pageantry and the nostalgia of that is so appealing to me. I don't know why, it just is.
Well, there you go. It's appealing to me too. I've seen it 30 times. On the pole, Greg Evans.
Well, you participated in it.
19,391.
And congratulations on your Congratulations on your recent Indy win. That's all right.
That was pure luck. Greg Evans is your pole sitter. Ryan O'Donohue is second. Kyle Heath is going to start third in the 13. He's going to be flanked by Trevor Benz in the number 3. JD Daniels is going to go 5th. Michael Moquin 6th. Jason Heaney 7th. Jeffrey Hyatt is going to start 8th. There's Kendall Paul. He'll go 9th. James Hodgson, teammate alongside in 10th. In 11th, Joseph Klein in the number 7. He's going to have Nolan Milnes to his outside in the 1. There's Andrew Miller. He's in the 40, and he'll have the 99 of Joshua Siegfried to his outside. Corey Crandall is going to start 15th. Edwin James 16th. Michael Kirk, Troy Carricker, Braden Langley, and Ted Craven round out your top 20. And there we are back to Ted. We have to say, Sam, I hope I don't have to hit the soundboard for that man right there. That's the 125 of Brian Sharp. He's going to start 21st. Mark Allowette, 22nd. Caleb Jones, 23rd. Dylan Godnez is going to start 24th. That's much further back than we're used to seeing him. Donald Green in the aforementioned 6th.
Absolutely. He's been fast, yes.
Donald Green in the aforementioned 6th. He'll roll 25th. And then behind him, Sean Merriman, Mark Cofield, Eric Corder, Sean Mott, and Keith Ayers did not take time.
It's now Mark Cofield, Sean Merriman, those Eric Corder actually had a great finish going last week until a late race incident. But those guys have been fast this year, and they may be just playing the strategy that they want to avoid any chaos that may happen midfield, mid-pack. Some drivers like to be a little bit more cautious in that regard. But the guys up front are probably going to stay out there as long as they can before they pit.
Yeah, it's this is one of those where you want to go, Sam. You're going to want to go until the stage caution and then pit. I mean, heck, I think on gas they can make it through the end of the second stage if they really wanted to. So there's sure to be.
Oh yeah, no question.
There's sure to be plenty of caution flags here. I don't foresee tires being that big of a deal.
Let's hope not. Let's hope these guys will really put their nose to the grindstone and that they'll really make a race of this thing. I'm excited to see drivers like Michael Moquin, Jason Heaney, Andrew Miller, Corey Crandall. These guys have been known to really get up front. And Miller getting back at Joseph Klein already. So I'm eager to see how it goes. So tighten those belts.
Whoa,
folks.
we've already got a wreck.
They're wrecking on the back stretch. The leaders are wrecking.
Right,
Trevor Benz. Oh my heavens! There's 12 cars involved in this easily.
Yeah, it's a parking lot on the backstretch. We're looking at the 55 of JD Daniels. The accident started.
JD Daniels.
This started all around.
Well, they were 3 wide coming on. Ryan O'Donohue went really wide on the start, and he's all the way at the top and gets loose, and that opens the bottom up for JD Daniels and Trevor Benz. Well, Trevor is stuck in the middle and he's wanting to stay off of Ryan, and then JD is trying to come off the top off the bottom with a big run, and then they just come together.
Yeah, they got hooked up there. The 3 of Trevor Benz, 55.
There's nowhere to go here once the car's sideways.
No, track is absolutely blocked. There's Kendall Paul. I was talking with Kendall earlier.
Oh, my heavens. Can you believe Joshua Siegfried and what he pulled off right there? I'm calling him Moses from here on out. I'm just going to call him Moses.
But it does. It turns into a parking lot over here. They're still piling in the back of each other. These poor guys can't get stopped. They can't get stopped. You know what I mean?
99 of Jason Siegfried missed every single bit of it and did not touch anyone.
All right, so let's go.
99 of Jason Siegfried.
Joshua Siegfried. Let's have a look at Joshua Siegfried, and let's watch from. Let's see. Here we go. We're gonna get in the passenger seat of Joshua Siegfried. Now, mind you, we're going at 25% time here. The server is not being cooperative.
Okay.
But we're in the passenger seat, And here's what you see. You don't see a whole lot. You see the car spin. You see 2 cars spin. What in the world? How is he going to get through this? Because they're going to start piling into each other on the top. The track is completely blocked. Where's he going to go?
So right now, right, exactly. He sees nothing at this, at one particular point, all he sees is a car sideways up ahead of him.
Holy smokes. He got through that with
It's just amazing how everything just split wide open.
The seas part for Joshua Siegfried.
He never gets touched.
No,
he never gets touched.
We'll show the outside view one more time.
Oh, look at the damage on Kendall Paul's car.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage going around. We're gonna have to cut back to live action. We do have a heck of an audience in the chat already. Reaper's Double, Ben Summerford, Narkbrain. Thank you so much for tuning it in, guys.
Appreciate you all tuning in tonight.
Hard lick for Kendall Paul. That car is going to take a long time to repair. And there's the 99. As Sam said, just like Moses, the seas part. He walks right on through. And somehow the two of the guys that started most of this, Trevor Benz and Ryan O'Donohue, why, they sneak right on through and don't have really anything. Now, Benz has since stopped.
And we're back under green as Greg Evans leads the field. We'll see if we can get a green flag up. Ryan O'Donohue is heading into the pits.
Yeah, that car is going to have some damage on it. Looking at Greg Evans and Kyle Heath, I am shocked and surprised, Sam, to see those two up front. And that's probably the best place to be, quite honest. If you're up front, you can get away. You don't have to really worry about the shenanigans going on back in that pack. Of course, the pack has been thinned out quite a bit. We started 30. We're down to 22 on the lead lap and 25 on the track. And so that's really going to, the attrition.
Oh, the 25 is way up the track in 3 and 4.
Yeah, we'll go back and take a look at Braden Langley. He's got the 40 of Andrew Miller underneath him to the top. Braden Langley goes. The 98 is going to sneak through. That's Keith Ayers. These cars are one lap down right here, at least Miller, Langley, and so on. And they need to get going. The 54 slow on the front. That's Michael Kirk.
Michael Kirk, yeah.
And then contact made as soon as they get to turn number 1. The 54 was very slow. He was about 5 seconds off the pace that last time. Meanwhile, Kyle Heath is going to take the fastest lap of the race. Caution is on the Speedway.
Oh, we have another caution on the racetrack.
It's going to be the 40.
As we see Andrew Miller and Michael Kirk, apparently they made contact somewhere.
Yeah,
wait a minute. Andrew Miller was probably already in a spin. Yes, Andrew Miller was self-spinning in 3 and 4.
Yep, there we go. He's running along in front of
Donald. And
Donald.
He collects Donald Green, and then Michael Kirk was just trying to avoid the incident, so he wasn't involved.
No, I don't. Well, there's Miller. There's the wheel hop as you go into turn 3. Around she goes. That's Benz and Donald Green. They're racing along behind. Donald Green was on the lead lap, and he's just going to take. It's not too bad. A little bit of contact to the left front.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he'll be.
That should be repairable.
I don't even know if you get that fixed at Martinsville, to be honest with you. But everybody,
there's always that possibility. They do reinforce the front ends of these cars, and because it is on the front left fender, it's not going to interfere. The only thing that may pop up there that would be extreme would be wheel damage, but I don't know that he hit hard enough for that.
No, I don't think so either. Donald Green has not come to pit road. There he is. He's running along in 13th place. Right there he is, Katie.
Well, we sure do have a lot of cars out there, though.
Yeah, we do. Well, but we've also got quite a few cars on pit lane. And the point I was going to make earlier was that as attrition happens,
yes, sir,
that's when the green flag runs start to come into play here.
You will see a difference once attrition starts taking out more cars. Then you could see a very long green flag run with pit stops. I mean, it's happened, and I've been a part of those races as well.
100%. So have I, Sam.
This car is really interesting here. The Xfinity car is really interesting here at Martinsville. Just simply, depending on how you set up your brake bias, you can loosen it up some on entry in that manner. But as long as you can find some rotation through the middle and get drive off, but again, it takes throttle control. There is this quirky little thing with the Xfinity car is that once you get full throttle on exit, if the car gets too light with steering input, you can start wiggling the back of that car around on the straight. And I've seen people lose control of the car even on the straightaway simply because they had steering wheel input at the wrong time and caused the car to get out of shape.
Yeah, we saw Kendall Paul have that happen to him in qualifying. So we're going to come back to green, 15 of 250 down. Greg Evans, Kyle Heath, Jason Heaney, Joshua Siegfried, Mark Cofield are your leaders. Barney's got the green flag in his hand, and away we rock and roll here at Martinsville. 16 laps complete. Greg Evans gets the drop, and he's going to lead Kyle Heath.
Big jump for Greg Evans. And there's a couple of names that I talked about in the pre-race that are popping up right here with Heaney and Crandall. Those are a couple of names that I had mentioned. And now they're already working their way up toward the top 5.
They most certainly are. There's Siegfried. Of course, he was
and
in.
There's our friend Brian Sharp back there battling door to door in the 6th position.
Well, you spoke too soon. He's heavy contact with appears to be Sean Merriman there in the 18, and so let's see what's going on here with Brian. He's running along behind the 35 of Corey Crandall. Of course, you got the 94 in pit lane there.
Is that Mark Cofield on the end? Yes, it was. Mark Cofield was not involved in that. Brian Sharp just lost the rear end of the car on the high side. And then he collected the 18 of Sean Merriman and the 12 of Caleb Jones. So that high side can get a little bit loose up there, and so that's what we saw was Brian getting loose on the high side.
And you heard the song. When Brian Sharp hits something, we have to remind him in the broadcast to please watch out for those trees. Just loose on the high side there, saying backs it in the fence and collects a couple other guys that really didn't have anything to do with his little spin there. Now, you were talking about brake bias, and that's something that as Brian Sharp sits on pit lane under repair, that's something that I was going to ask before. Before we kind of got sidetracked with the with cars hitting the wall. So you've got brake bias. You can move it forward and back. Are there limits to that, and what does moving it forward and back do?
Yes. Yes, sir. In fixed setups, there are, yes, absolutely. In fixed setup, there is only so far. Well, the geometry of the setup will only allow you to use so much anyway. But in fixed setups, there are limitations about how low you can go with that brake bias to give it more front brake or rear brake. And so, yeah, there are limitations. And a lot of guys like to just bottom it out. I would say it's probably in the 47% range bottomed out, but it could be as low as 44. I haven't looked at this particular setup lately. So a lot of guys can drive it like that. I personally can't, because the time you touch the brake going on entry, if it's too much, then if it's too low, then the rear of the car will just come around you on your entry. The minute you touch the brake, it just wants to spin.
Yeah, and so what Sam is describing, the number there, that's the percentage of brake bias front to back. The lower the number, the further you've moved the bias toward the back as we get ready to go to green. And that's one of the tools that drivers in this fixed setup league are going to have at their disposal. It's not like an Indy car where you can change roll bars, you can change.
There's not many, but that's one.
Yeah, there's not many, but that's one. You know, the steering gear you can change around. You can even change the angle at which you put the steering wheel on. Some guys like to do that.
The offset. Yep.
Green.
And again, it's just here at Martinsville, you want to be able to rotate the middle of the corner. You want a little bit of a free entry, but you want to rotate the middle so that you can get drive off. If you can't rotate the middle, it becomes extremely tight on exit. And without that forward bite, it's hard to make passes, and it's hard to hold on to the leaders. As we have another caution on the racetrack.
That's Braden Langley in the 25. He's up against the outside retaining wall, and we'll have to see what happened to Braden. It's got Donald Green up there, and he just charges in the corner too hard, locks the rear brakes up. You could see it in the feed, Sam. and backs it hard into the outside wall. And we've got our, fourth caution here?
Wow, he really dove it in there.
Yeah, you could see the huge differential in speed, and then like you say, he was getting hard on the binders. As he did so, the rears locked up, and around the Carolina Blue Jordan Special went into the fence. Caution once again on the Speedway. We're going to see some pit stops here. Of course, you've got cars like Nolan Milnes, Keith Ayers. They were involved earlier. Andrew Miller, Edwin James, Dylan Godnez, Trevor Benz. You've got guys that were involved in accidents earlier. They're going to stop and they're going to take repair. Donald Green, interestingly enough, and there's
right.
Donald. He never stopped for repair after his initial impact. Donald runs 12th. Donald runs 12th in there, but you've got guys like Joseph Klein, Mark Alouette, Michael Moquin. Pretty much everybody from 8th on back in this field has had some sort of contretemps and had some reason to visit pit lane. We'll break out the Jackie Stewart, Keith Jackson language for the fans at home. But pretty much everybody except the top 8 has been on pit road.
Right, now people are going to have to watch the broadcaster with a thesaurus.
Ben Summerford wants to know, with all these yellows, does Martinsville serve hot dogs for breakfast? I'm pretty certain you can get a hot dog anytime you want at this joint. Which, funnily enough, this is a track that, although I know the lore of it very well, I have not been to. My dad's been here, but I have not been to Martinsville.
Oh my heavens! It is probably one of the most fun tracks, in my opinion, to go and watch races. Once a year, back in the 90s, Martinsville hosted what was called the Cardinal 500, and I would attend that event every year. And in that event, they would have 200 laps of, 100 laps of late model racing, 200 laps of open wheel modified racing, and then 200 lap Busch race, or at that in that time it was Busch, but it was an all-day event. It was amazing. It was some of the, and there were so many historic drivers there. It was Martinsville's just a fun place to go and relax and watch a race. It really is.
I can imagine that. So, and I imagine it just as being very picturesque as well. We're going to take a break from the battle for the lead. They're going 3 wide back here. That's O'Donohue, Nolan Milnes, and Donald Green, 3 wide, going through turns 3 and 4. They're still trying to get it 3 wide. Nolan Milnes has been worth the price of admission. He started 19th on this restart, having just got a lap back. Nolan Milnes has made up 4 spots. He's been taking guys 3 wide. He's now looking underneath Mark Alouette. He's made it to 15th. Make that 14th. He'll draw a bead on the 08 of Dylan Godnez. We've got a car around on the back. That's going to be
we got a spinner
Ted
right
Craven.
there.
Caution is out.
Yeah, that's Ted Craven.
Lost it off of exit there.
Yeah, let's see what's happened to the teddy bear in the admin box machine. He came to grief on exit here, lap 30. He's going to spin it down to the inside, and I bet that's going to hurt the nose of that Ford Mustang. He does the right thing, though, Sam. He stands on the gas and spins it back around.
Oh, and he just and he stands on it and gets it out of shape again. Yeah.
Yeah, he did the right thing. He tried.
Yeah, no, he did. I just in this particular venue, it's always been just important to me to settle in, avoid the incidents for the people that want a hard charge, and then allow the race to come to me. If you're running up front, you can dictate a lot of how the race goes for you as a driver. But if you're starting in the back or you're starting in the middle of the pack, you really are taking a lot of risks and gambles by being too aggressive. Milnes is really doing a great job of moving up through the field, but it just depends. It's doomed if you do, doomed if you don't kind of situation. You want to get up front, you want to make up positions, but when are you going to come across something that's going to stop all that momentum? I just like for the race to come to me at Martinsville, and if I can get that long run, then I'm a happy camper. I really, really like the long runs here.
Yeah, well, the thing for me, truthfully, is just avoid the trouble, right? It's unless you're Greg Evans
Yeah.
or Kyle
Yes.
Heath, Joshua Siegfried, who now runs third. The seas parted for him. He avoided the trouble and he's rode it up into third. But if you're one of those top three guys, you're not worried
It may be a
necessarily.
spiritual thing for him.
Spiritual thing for somebody. There's looking off the top of Greg Evans, but if you're one of these guys, that's at the front, you don't necessarily have to worry about it. But let's say you're Trevor Benz right here. Look at what he's got. He's got himself back on the lead lap. We're under yellow. We're going 60, 70 miles an hour, and
Yes.
it's congested out there.
And we're only 33 laps into the race. We're not even a fifth into this race.
You're absolutely right, Sam. And you're sitting there, you're thinking, and we're going to watch this. I'm going to put the drone cam up. We'll get going on Trevor Benz here. We'll leave the telemetry so the fans at home can see it. What does this look like? But it's 33 laps in. You're Trevor Benz. You got a dent in the back. You're mired in the midfield.
Front left is wrinkled up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Martinsville looking car if I ever saw one. It's not hurt nothing. He's going to go under Donald Green, move Trevor Benz to 15th.
And some people that may be watching the broadcast tonight may be asking themselves, they may think, well, why are these guys getting their cars fixed? Well, when you have a race that has this many cars in it and it's going to have this many cautions at the beginning, there's a good chance you can get laps back if you can get the lucky dog. So that's why a lot of these guys are getting. Oh, and Donald Green dives it hard into three and spins again.
Yeah, he's going to collect the 54. That's Michael Kirk. Tough break for Donald Green, and you called it, Sam. Just a little bit too hard of a charge there into
way too deep
into the corner. Drove it way too deep. Rears lock up and around the car goes.
Oh, he just what a great job keeping it off of Andrew Miller. I don't know how he avoided him. I will tell you, if I'm Greg Evans or Kyle Heath,
I'm not pitting for nothing.
If I'm up front, no, I'm not pitting, but I will tell you psychologically, it begins to wear on you. Because when you're up front, you want to go. You want to go and race. And it just starts getting into your head, and it can play into your thinking during the race, because you're thinking, if this is all this is, I'm not having fun, or this is not cool, I don't like this, why can't these guys get their act together? And sometimes it can mess with your judgment sometimes when it does go green if you're not careful. So those two guys being seasoned veterans, I don't expect that, but I do know that for people that run up front in a caution field race, it can change some of the perspective of how you race when it does go green.
It can. We both know Greg Evans to be a pretty calm and cool customer, Sam. I wouldn't anticipate that out of him. Now, there are others up there that I can hear that coming out of them.
Yes, sir.
And so,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
it does. And I'm not going to say who, of course, but having contested this series last year, there are some guys that are probably on the voice chat right now, and they're saying, "Hey, can we get some green flag laps going?" And if you're Greg Evans and Kyle Heath and Siegfried and Crandall, if you're in that top four, you want this thing to get going green, and you want it to stay that way for a little bit, not only to mark the time.
Yeah, there's no question.
Think about it. We've done 40 laps in half an hour, so we definitely want to see this thing get going green,
Yes.
not just for the competitors, but for the fans at home. The other thing that you want to see, you want to get into a rhythm. And right now, there's no rhythm.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely a rhythm track.
Yeah, it's a rhythm track. We're going 2 laps, we're stopping. 2 laps, we're stopping. That plays in it too. We're going to get Greg Evans. We're going to show it from the blimp. We're going to put Sam and I in the P1 airship, and away we go. That's what it looks like when they hit the loud pedal in the middle of the drag strip.
Kyle Heath got a good jump this time with Greg, but he's going to fall in behind him.
Yes, he does. Now, the one thing
Crandall and Siegfried are door to door.
One thing I kind of want fans to look at is where on the straightaway the flames come out of the side, come out the pipes. If you notice, they're not driving. The guys at the front, they're lifting off halfway to somewhere between halfway and 5/8 down the straightaway. They're not.
Yes.
They're not driving. They're not going all the way down to the corner. Whoa! Joshua Siegfried gets kicked up high.
Siegfried goes wide in turn 4.
Yeah, he got kicked up there. There's Joshua Siegfried. He's going to lose some spots. Caution.
Oh, and now we have a caution on the race.
Who we got, Sam?
I am looking.
I don't see. I see Mike.
Looks like Michael Kirk may have been in this.
Yeah, so there's Kirk.
Yes, Michael Kirk was going into 3. And again, it's just one of those instances. He's so high on the racetrack and loses the rear end of the car. The tendency is when you're driving here at Martinsville and you're on the high side, the tendency is you feel that you're just impelled to drive deeper into the corner than you normally do. I don't know why it is that way. Some drivers feel like that they have to go deeper if they're on the high side, and then not taking into account the characteristics of the car and the geometry and how it may react up there. And so sometimes you may have the instinct to drive a little deeper on the high side, and we've seen several cars now that have done just that, go high into turn 3 and then just lose the back of the car, or exit off of 2 and lose the rear end of the car as well on the high side.
Yeah, I mean, I know the track is short and the speeds are a lot less than what some people are used to seeing, but this track almost is one of the most difficult to drive just for how delicate you have to be with the throttle, Sam, how delicate you have to be with the brakes.
Yes,
and let's not forget, in the sim it manifests itself a little bit different. We don't really get brake fade and exploding brakes and overheated brakes and all of those things. But what you do get in the sim is those brake rotors, when they start glowing, it overheats the tires and you lose all grip.
You start losing grip and the ability to steer through the corner. You're exactly right.
So, under caution, 45 of 250 complete here at Martinsville. Do want to remind the fans, we do have a stage break coming at lap 60, and it feels like we've been under a stage break for most of the event. However, I promise you there is a competition caution. There is a competition caution at lap 60, and just for the benefit of Kendall Paul, there's the sarcasm horn. But we're gonna see a competition caution here in 14 more laps. I would be surprised if we get to lap 52 or 3 and there's a caution if Kendall doesn't just call that the stage. The AMA officials don't call that the stage. We are getting ready to get a restart here. 47. It'll be 47 of 250 complete. And Sam, with all these cautions, do you even stop at the stage? I mean, that's something that Greg and Kyle have to be thinking about.
Well, it's very when you have two drivers that have the ability that Kyle Heath and Greg Evans have. I mean, they very well may just want the track position. However, if the rest of the field behind them comes in and pit, then they have a decided advantage with fresh tires. But what I am seeing is now that we have so many laps, 45, 47 laps on these tires, I am seeing some of these front runners that have not gone in and got rubber, that on entry, that's the reason that Joshua Siegfried fell back, is in entry he got really loose and washed up the racetrack. I've seen several drivers on entry into 3 just lose the back end of the car. If they could get a sustained number of laps, they can get heat in these tires, and I think even the leaders on 40-something lap tires should be able to stay out. But again, because they do have so many options as far as tires are concerned, then they have 5 sets that they may come in and get tires anyway, but they do put themselves in jeopardy of anyone that went in and got tires on this last caution.
Yeah, speaking of that, Joseph Klein right there, the number 7, he last stopped on lap 20, so he's been out 31 laps. You've got Sean Merriman in the 18. He's kind of in that same boat. He's on 26 lap old tires. Dylan Godin is 19 laps
There's the
we've got
caution
another
down again on the
yeah.
racetrack.
Looking, there's Caleb Jones
And
around.
it looks like the 12 with Caleb Jones.
Ooh, we got
There's a
some.
big. Oh, I see what happened. Braden Langley loses it up ahead. And he, again, on the high side, he loses the back of the car, comes across the nose of Andrew Miller, and then it's just bumper tag after that. And Caleb Jones is easily the worst recipient of that exchange.
Yeah, we're watching it from on board. Caleb Jones, just nowhere to go with Miller and Braden Langley. Hard to hit.
Yeah, we're really seeing a consistent behavior here of this particular car on drivers that are coming in on the high side. It's going to require earlier braking, letting off a little earlier, and able to keep control of that car on the high side.
You know, I'd have to Bill you right. I don't.
And he about lost it on 3 and 4 too.
I don't know him enough about stock cars, Sam, to say you're right or wrong. But we'll take your advice. You know, I'm thinking about what Ben Summerford said earlier, where you know, he asked if there were hot dogs from breakfast. I'm gonna have to get some hot dogs sent over here to the P1 Broadcasting booth for a late dinner. We are working.
At this rate, it'll be a midnight snack.
I wonder if we can get delivery up here to the booth, Sam, and what that might look like.
Do they DoorDash Martinsville hot dogs? That would be amazing.
I mean, they might be a bit cold by the time they get here. It's what, that 1,500 miles away, but I'm sure you can.
Well, I hope you stocked up on your Rolaids.
Do they now? What kind of hot dogs do they serve here? I mean, is it a special, like, local delicacy of a hot dog from a local butcher, or is it
actually? I
is
do
it
believe
ballpark, or is it like ballpark Franks? Yeah, I mean, what kind of hot dog is it?
Ballpark Franks at a racetrack. No, actually, if I'm not mistaken, it's a local brand called Jesse Jones Southern Style Red.
Okay,
is what their hot dogs that they've served for years. It's always, I mean, it's been something that they've, as you said in the pre-race, this is the oldest active track in as it was established in 1947, and Jesse Jones' Southern Red. I mean, actually, it's been a staple hot dog since 1947.
back to green.
I do think that they sold that company several years ago, but that's what I remembered was the Jesse Jones.
No, and that's not uncommon for racetracks to have their own local flavor, even if it's a local dirt track. One of my home track, the Tri-State Speedway in Homestead, Indiana, and if you're an ARCA guy, you might remember the name Tommy Helfrich from the '80s. He runs that place now. His dad started it, and it's in the middle of Tommy's cornfield, right next to his house. But
nice.
They serve their meats from a local butcher, and it's the same stuff that you go and it's the same place that.
Oh no, we're wrecking on the backstretch as John Merriman and Mark Cofield get together, and Cofield goes spinning into the inside wall.
There's the car of Mark Cofield. It is bent and bruised and broken, and we're going to see exactly what's happening. He's running along to the outside of Joseph Klein, going in.
It looks like Cofield got loose coming off of 2.
Well, I see why he got loose. I think there might have been some contact with the 18. Can't identify it, but I can't say for sure. But there may have been some contact right there.
Right in the middle of the corner, and it pushed him up the racetrack. Yeah, I see that contact as well. Yeah, if you go back to the middle,
yeah,
it may have been net code, or it may have even been a touch. But then Mark is trying to wheel the car back straight again, and then they come together again on the exit.
Yes, they do, and so it would surprise me greatly if this was not the stage. We're working lap 59 of 250. Caution is out here at Martinsville for the AMA Black Magic Studios. Grand National Series. And Sam, we've made it through stage 1. We've got 2 more to go, brother.
Well, we are certainly hoping that the stages that lie ahead of us are going to be far greater than and better than the stage that we've just witnessed. I know that it's taxing on the drivers, and it's challenging for us here in the booth, and it actually can be discouraging for the viewers. But just watching our numbers tonight, our viewers have been very faithful and stuck it out with us, and we're grateful that they're going to stick around. We're hoping that we're really going to see green flag racing at its best here in the AMA. I just noticed that Trevor Benz is actually, considering that he was in our very first caution at the beginning of the race, he is now back on the lead lap. He just had the lucky dog, and he's come back and got on the lead lap.
You know, he has. Once pit stops are complete, we're going to get the second place man. That's Kyle Heath on the horn. Once pit road has opened, we're following along under yellow here for the stage break, lap 60 of 250. Here at the Hot Dog Stand 250 from Martinsville. You see Greg Evans leads it, Kyle Heath second, Jason Heaney is third, Corey Crandall fourth, and Joseph Klein will round out your top 5. Do want to thank everybody that is watching and in the chat. Thank you so much for being so active. Do want to let you guys know that YouTube analytics say about half the people out there are not subscribed to the channel, and we are getting awfully close to that 900 subscriber mark. And so if you haven't done so, skip on over to the top of the channel, ring the bell, and you'll be notified of all future AMA races on the P1 Broadcasting Network, the IndyCar stuff. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned. 898 subscribers as we sit now. So just so you know,
oh, we're so close to 900. That's exciting.
So close. Well, and Sam, I don't know if you knew this or not, but for every 100 subscribers, a random name gets picked out of the hat, and your name goes on the side of Kyle Clinworth's IndyCar. And for those of you who haven't seen Clindy race, that man can wheel a car that doesn't have fenders. I've never seen him actually race a car with fenders. He claims he's pretty good at that too. But Kyle Clinworth, a mad scientist in the open wheel stuff, and if we get to 900, he'll break out the rattle can and put somebody's name on the side of his car to commemorate the occasion. And then it's just 100 to go, Sam, before we hit that magic 1,000.
Oh man, we're just so close, and so we're eager to invite you to be a part of the P1 Broadcasting family. Just click that subscribe button so that you can be a part of that. Of course, if you're already watching, we consider you a part, but we'd like to make it official. And so we're so close to 900, and we know that once we clip that achievement, that it'll all be downhill till we get to 1,000. So we hope that you'll join us in our endeavor to be a better broadcast company each and every week.
100%, and I'll tell you who's endeavoring to be a better not pit stopper. Greg Evans, Kyle Heath, Jason Heaney, Corey Crandall, they did not stop. Joseph Klein, Sean Merriman, they were on pit road for quite a bit of time with repair, as was Nolan Milnes. Michael Moquin is 8th. Merriman, Klein, Milnes, Moquin.
So the top 4 cars did not stop?
The top 4 cars have run this race thus far nonstop. From P5, okay. Klein, Merriman, Milnes, Moquin, James, and Owlette. So the rest of the top 10 have stopped at some point, but they did not stop under that last caution.
And we're going under green here.
We're going under green. Everybody else.
Kyle Heath is doing a great job with these starts. He's getting better and better and better at anticipating Greg's start. He really is.
He is, and that's the thing with these stock car starts. People don't, again, viewers at home may not realize, we'll get on board with Kyle Heath. Greg Evans, you are
Joseph Klein. He really sent Corey Crandall up the racetrack on that exit.
But when you're talking about Greg Evans, get back on the roll bar. It says I am second on the television cover there. The television cover lies. Greg Evans leading the race. Kyle Heath second. Let's kind of get some other people here. Jason Heaney, we haven't said a word about him in the Grey Ghost painted Napa Auto Parts special. Jason Heaney's running a very quiet third here, Sam. And you know what I like?
I was. Go ahead.
You know what I like about that number 9? There's not a scratch or a mark or a ding on that baby. It's not.
No, sir. He's run a good race tonight.
Yeah, he's doing a great job keeping that car clean.
And actually, he was one of the drivers that I had mentioned in the pre-race. He seems to always just run a conservative race and tries to be smart about preserving the car for the end. He's doing a great job. And as you can see, even with the 50-lap tires, 50-something lap tires, 60-lap tires, you see how Greg Evans and Kyle Heath are actually starting to get a little distance on the third-place car. Joseph Klein, who is in 4th position, he is the one that is on the freshest tires as of this last pit stop. And then you have several cars behind him that are trying to make their way up through the field. And the most notable is Michael Moquin, who was in an early incident, and now here he is and raced himself up into the 7th position. And as he goes at it with Joshua Siegfried.
Yes, he does. And there's Siegfried in the 99, Moquin in the 8. They're after it for 7th and 8th. Right now, Siegfried has it. Moquin did have it. There goes Siegfried, so he's going to get past. And Siegfried had Joshua Siegfried.
Oh, and we have caution on the track again. I was really under the impression that we would not see a caution this time for a while. As we see Donald Green sideways on the racetrack in 1 and 2.
Yeah, there he is. And let's see what's happened with Donald Green.
Again, Donald seems to be really wanting to make that high entry, and again, he loses the back of the car when he does so. So he either has way too much brake bias into the car as he's going on these entries and losing the back, or he's just driving it in entirely too deep and not utilizing the brake in a fashion that will help him rotate. So
Either
it's just a matter of just changing your entry, and working on your line.
And could it be braking while you're turning too? I know some cars you can do that in. And
yeah, steering input while you're yeah, absolutely.
So
too much steering input while you're on entry can cause that. He's so high on the racetrack, he could very well be putting a lot of steering input in.
Yeah, that might have been my immediate thought. Donald Green runs 17th. He's 1 lap down. There's only one other car 1 lap down. That's Trevor Benz. Trevor Benz is on the pit lane, affecting further repair to that number 3, because the number 3 is bent just in about every place you can bend one of these things. And so there goes Trevor Benz. There goes Trevor Benz. He's trying to get.
He went a lap down again. I thought he had gotten back on the lead lap, or he may be repairing it and then hopes that he can get it fully repaired.
Yeah, I think that might be the strategy here for Trevor Benz. Try to get that baby fixed.
Right.
Greg Evans is your leader. Kyle Heath is second. We'll go back up to the front. Lights are on the pace truck. We're going to come by.
That restart had all the makings of a good run. I'm eager to see if it works.
And I do appreciate everybody's patience with the stream.
I was going to Martinsville when Harry Gant was owning that racetrack.
Mr. September. Was it here that his streak ended, or was that Wilkesboro?
Man.
Where he lost the brakes? Was it here or was it at Wilkesboro? It was one of the two, wasn't it?
I believe it. I honestly cannot answer the question with all surety.
I remember it was either one of the two, because they used to come to, as the green flag comes out, they used to come here and then go to Wilkesboro in back-to-back weeks, spring and fall. They'd kind of have a short track season. They'd go to those two tracks, and Bristol was always right around that same time. And so they'd kind of have a short track season. We've got a car really high.
Oh, Joseph Klein gets into the back of Heaney and runs him up the racetrack. That opens the door for Mills.
Oh, we're not done yet.
And they're still wrecking coming out of 4. Oh, my heavens. all that started with Joseph Klein getting into the back of Heaney, and that sent Heaney up the racetrack. And then the one of Nolan Milnes just found an opportunity that he thought that he could take, and then he got underneath of Klein, and they're just playing bumper cars at that particular point. Thought Klein had it saved. I really thought he had it saved for a second there.
I did too, but then they all started
Joseph
bouncing
Klein
off.
had such a good run going.
They all started bouncing off one of each other. I want to apologize a little bit differently. Sam, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay. So what we've done.
I can hear you.
You can?
I can.
Okay. So, Sam, thank you so much for your patience. And everybody at home watching on the P1 Broadcasting Network. We are going to take just a brief break. To re-diagnose, we're re-diagnosing some issues with the stream, and I thank everybody's patience. It's going to cause me to get out and get back into the session, Sam. And so, what we've done is there's something going on with my router. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the backup facilities, and we're going to get a wireless hotspot created. And we're going to do this via cell phone. How about that? It'd be like old school, Sam. You remember when they used to call radio broadcasts in via telephone? You remember that?
No, actually, I don't.
You've never heard that? That was a staple.
No, I never.
So growing up in
No, I didn't know that they did that. That's interesting.
Yeah, so growing up in southern Indiana, that was the thing, man. You'll still hear it from time to time. When they would do high school basketball games over the radio, it was literally a guy in the press box, which was usually the teacher's lounge that just happened to overlook the court, and they'd stand there and they would broadcast the thing, and it was just one guy. It wasn't like there were two guys. It was one guy, and he would be he would call the game with a telephone and call the station, and they'd put the receiver in the station up next to the they put the receiver in the station up next to the
all right, man, caution is out,
up next to the microphone in the station, and that's how they did it.
Well, I had no idea that was something that went on. And for those that are if they're still listening, we did go into under green again, and really briefly, just for a moment until we had another caution, where several cars were involved in a skirmish going into turn one. So we're back under caution, and we're eagerly waiting for the next caution while Mark works on his connectivity issues.
Yeah, we've got the session back up. Now it's just a matter of getting it back so that everybody can see what is transpiring here. It is about, just so the people at home know, it is a multi-stage process. You got to get the cameras loaded. You've got to get the track going. You've got to really get several things set and ready to rock before you can turn the stream back on. And I appreciate everybody's patience.
Your top four remain the same as it was before the broadcast went into this brief hiatus. Greg Evans leading, Kyle Heath in second, Nolan Milnes is now in third, Corey Crandall is in fourth, and that brings Joshua Siegfried running in the fifth position as we're still trying to sort through this most recent caution, and we should be coming to the two to go, this time by at the line. Just to go ahead and run out the top 10, Mark Cofield is showing in the 6th position. Edwin James in the 40, or excuse me, Andrew Miller is in the 7th position. Edwin James in 8th. Keith Ayers in 9th. Mark Owlett is in 10th position. Jason Heaney has worked himself back to 11th position as we go double file, coming to the green flag. Down the backstretch, Caleb Jones in 12th. Dylan Godinez in 13th. Sean Merriman in 14th. Michael Moquin 15th. Joseph Klein in 16th and Trevor Beans in 17th as we're coming through 3 and 4 to the green flag again. Those are your lead lap cars as Greg Evans takes the green flag and gets out to a great jump, but Kyle Heath is not going to let him get away.
No, he does not. And welcome back to the American Motorsports Association Black Magic Grand National Series. Sam, you know what we've got going right now? We've got live pictures, brother.
I like it when we have live pictures. Our viewers have been so patient.
Yes, they have, and want to so very much thank everybody for their patience. Greg Evans leads it. Kyle Heath is second. We've got Nolan Milnes in third. Corey Crandall fourth. Joshua Siegfried rounds out your top 5. And I got to give Evans and Heath credit. We keep showing them on the screen because the battle for the front has been tremendous, Sam. Even though it's been fits and starts and stops, these two have been going at it.
Those two drivers are proving that they're the class of the field, and that they really want to make sure that they put on a race for the win. They're both in it to win it, as we say, and I think they both have the capability to really bring an interesting end to this race, and so I'm excited to see how it's going to play out after they make pit stops.
You know, I am too. Those two cars have not stopped, and that's a huge thing.
We have caution on the speedway. And Nolan Milnes, our third place driver, is going around.
Yes, he has. Nolan Milnes around in the number 1 machine. He's wearing the Lowe's colors tonight, but that car has.
He was all by himself, and once again, on the high side, this car is so temperamental. Oh, and Edwin James goes really high and catches a piece of him.
Yes, he does.
This car is just so temperamental on that high side.
Yes, it is. It's, and the fans at home, if you look at the track and you can see the black marks in the concrete, you want to stay in that because it is very slippery if you get off of that.
The rubber starts building up on that outside line.
Yes, it does. The marbles and so forth, and you get out there and it's like driving on ice. Poor Nolan Milnes, he misses the groove just a little bit, locks the car up under brakes, around she goes, and then somehow the 46 of Edwin James there somehow goes high next to him and misses him. So Edwin James gets away with one.
Just a small piece of him.
Yeah, I don't know if he got him or not. It was awful close. But under caution here, 92 of 250 laps complete. And you got to wonder, when are the leaders going to come into pit lane?
I would easily say that they will come in at the 120 mark at the second stage. I think they'll come in, and I think that they'll get fresh tires, and then they'll try to finish the race out on one stop. They really don't want to take the chance in trying to, if there is a long green flag run, they don't want to take the chance of being out there trying to make green flag stops, especially with cars that may have pitted and are willing to take the chance. So I personally would want to get fresh tires at the midway point and just go ahead and finish it out.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, you could almost make it from here, couldn't you, Sam?
It would be extremely close at this particular lap. But with caution flags, it's very possible, yes. I believe Kyle Heath actually did pit, didn't he?
Yeah, so looking at the
he
scoring,
did.
yeah.
Kyle Heath did pit. I think Kyle Heath has got a little strategy here to pit before the next stage break and get some track position.
Green flag, green flag.
He does indeed. There's the green flag. We're going to keep our eye on the number 13 machine, Kyle Heath, as he's going to try to rocket back to the front of this thing. He's going to restart in 11th. He has cleared Mark Owlett. He's going to set his sights on Dylan Godnez. And there's the 13, Kyle Heath. He's going to try to threat his way through and make a run toward the front. And he's got time because the stage here doesn't happen until 120, Sam.
Right. Exactly. Oh, and we see the 98 has got sideways. I believe that's Keith Ayers. Keith Ayers is sideways coming off of 2 and goes into the infield wall.
Yes,
and
he
that
has.
That will bring out another caution.
Yes, he has. And tough break for Keith Ayers. He's running right along in front of the 46 of Edwin James. He's to the inside of James. And is this going to be gas too early, Sam? Or is it going to be the curb? I'm going to go with gas too early.
Yeah, I'm going back to look at it and just evaluate again. It's so temperamental. I don't think he caught the curb. I think it was just a throttle situation where he just got loose.
And we have heard from the team director, Donald Green, is going to retire from the event. He says that the real trouble was behind. The 6 is done for the night. Had a pretty good night going, but they're going to be out of the race. That's a tough break to hear from those guys. Donald Green, sentimental favorite, but you see the 6. He's on pit road, and there is smoke pouring from the number 6, and so he's going to be done for this one.
A name you mentioned in the pre-race was Adam O'Brien, and he is not with us tonight, which was a noticeable omission.
Yeah, and so Adam is one of that group of the Pennsylvania, the NSIM Pennsylvania posse, and as I understand it, that group led by David Dunwoody, they go bowling every Thursday night, and so they're simply not able to make a lot of these races. Kendall was telling me that the bowling will end here very shortly, within the next couple of weeks, and then they'll be able to resume normal activity. Do want to once again thank everybody for their patience with the stream. We're having, I don't know if there's a technical difficulty with technical difficulty with AT&T, or if it's with my router or something, but we're on our alternate facilities. We're doing this old school by telephone tonight, and so thank you everybody for your patience. Do want to remind everybody, if you have not already done so, please if you like it, if you enjoy the stream, if you like it, go ahead and hit the like button, smash the bell, ring the bell to subscribe, so that you'll be notified of all future AMA broadcasts here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. We have made it to 100, Sam. We're getting ready to go back to green.
We have, and ready to go back to green.
Greg Evans, he's going to lead Joshua Siegfried. That's got to be weird for Greg. He's got a car to his left or car to his right, and it's not
and
Kyle
it's
Heath.
Not the 13. Yeah,
it's not Kyle Heath.
And Mark Cofield, who was going to get into the side of Joshua Siegfried. It is so tempting to get that car on the inside of someone. Just so tempting when you see an opening that you think you can get in there. Wow.
Well, let's see. He's got the 35 of Corey Crandall right behind him. That's the 99 of Joshua Siegfried. They're chasing down leader Greg Evans. The race has just restarted.
A little bump from Cofield, just enough to disturb the back of Siegfried's car.
There's the bump.
And there was just enough contact to get Siegfried out of shape, and then.
Well, there's more than one set of contact. The second one was the one that did the damage. The first one sent him up the hill. The second one sent him around, and Joshua Siegfried, he doesn't hit anything, and I don't think
it looks like that everyone did a great job of avoiding him because it was up in the front of the field.
James Hodgson might have clipped him a little bit at the end, but I don't see that anybody really hit him hard. Might be a little bit of scuff on the front of that. Might be a scuff mark on the front of it.
Klein and Dylan Godnez made a little contact trying to avoid Siegfried in the middle of the track, but nothing significant there other than just another caution.
Yeah, and Siegfried did something important. The pace car picked him up, but he did maintain his position on the lead lap. So as soon as we get one to go, Joshua Siegfried is
He'll
going to
get the wave around.
Yeah, he's going to get the wave around. Greg Evans is going to lead Mark Cofield, Corey Crandall, Edwin James, Sean Merriman, Jason Heaney, Dylan Godness, and Kyle Heath restarted 13th. He's had about 3 green flag laps out of the 12 that are on his tires, and he's already made it up to 8th. So he's going to be coming, and I would be willing to bet you a shiny new dime that Kyle Heath has visited pit lane for the last time tonight, Sam.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. There's no two ways around it. I agree with that. But we also see that Greg Evans has yet to pit. I think that Greg may think that if he can stay out till 120, he can go ahead and get fresh tires and finish with at least 20 lap fresher tires or 25 lap fresher tires than Kyle Heath, who has actually been extremely fast as he has been. So it could play out that way.
You know it could, and here's...
We see the drivers with fresh tires and old tires. You see the discrepancy here as drivers are trying to get up to the front of the field. They're just really trying to force things on restarts. It's very, very difficult to make progress when there's cautions on every restart. As we go into green.
It is indeed Kyle Heath. He's going to use the fresh tires to his advantage. Greg Evans gets away from Mark Cofield and Corey Crandall, but the action is right back here. It's around 8th position. Caution back out.
Oh my heavens! Who is it? Let's see if we can find who's. I do not see where the caution is.
I don't see it either.
No clue on what that caution was for.
Yeah, I don't have the caution either. We're looking through the field to see if there's anybody around, anybody damaged. We just simply don't see it up here in the P1 broadcasting booth. Was it a manual caution, or was it?
Oh, no. If we go back, you'll actually see Braden Langley and Michael Moquin on entry into 1. As they go into turn 1, they come together. Braden Langley's on the inside, Moquin is on the outside, and Langley washes up just a little bit as Moquin starts his entry, and so it sends the 8 around. He's able to get it straightened out relatively quickly, but not before the caution comes out.
Okay, I gotcha. We didn't catch it, but no worries. Sam Crow, Johnny on the spot. 108 of 250 complete here in the Hotdog stand 250. We're watching Greg Evans. He's leading Corey Crandall under caution. Mark Cofield third. Edwin James fourth. Sean Merriman fifth. Kyle Heath has the fresh tires. So does Dylan Godness. And let's give a call out to Godness. He stopped under the caution right before Kyle Heath did. So he's 25 laps out on his. The top 6 still have yet to visit pit lane. And here's the thing with that. If you stop now, you're going to be, what, 12th? Maybe 13th, 14th, something like that, Sam. You're going to go basically to the back of the green. You're going to go basically back to the. You're going to go basically back to the green the lead lap cars. Yes.
Right, as we have only 16, we're only showing 16 cars left on the lead lap right now. So depending on whether cars are still going into the pit lane for more repairs, which there are several drivers like Trevor Benz and several others that are still going in for repairs, you could come back out onto the track somewhere between 12th and 14th. But there are 16 cars still showing on the lead lap.
And you got to remember Greg Evans' position too. He's won twice. He's leading the points. He's looking for stage points, get as many bonus points as possible. The win may not necessarily matter to him.
As we go on to green.
As we go to green, the win may not matter to Greg Evans as much as the stage points, for the championship deal. So all sorts of different agendas here. And speaking of stages, we're going to have a stage caution in 9 more laps. Siegfried in the back. He's going to go 3 wide down to the bottom. Somehow they made that work, Sam.
We need more of that. More of making it work.
Yes, we do. We're watching Joshua Siegfried as he tries to work his way back up through the field. He's 1 lap down.
Oh, my heavens. Just
we got Brian Sharp in the wall hard.
All right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
And Sharp has already towed it to the pit lane. And I'll give you 3 guesses, Sam, as to what happens here. I don't know that you'll need them, though.
No, I think the fans have been watching enough to know exactly what is happening right there.
So Brian Sharp, he's going down the back here. And is it going to be too high or tagged in the rear from the 8 of Michael Moquin?
No, there's no contact with he and Michael Moquin, none whatsoever.
Yep, just too high.
It's just, again, just high entry, a lot of brake, maybe a lot of steering wheel, and no control. And that is the result.
You got it. The 125 is back on the pit lane. Under caution, Greg Evans remains your leader, still not stopping. I would be willing to bet he's pretty much pot committed at this point, Sam, to staying out.
Oh, he's committed to this second stage for sure. I just based on what I'm seeing, I think that he's committed for the stage. However, who's to say that with this many cautions, how many laps he has left on this tank? And he has not got that many green flag laps on the tires. He could still have plenty of tire left, and he could run the tank dry at this particular juncture. He could just run it as long as he wants to run it. But he does take a risk in a green flag run coming up. But the way that the modus operandi has worked tonight, there will be caution. So he may run the tank out, or he may wait till lap 120. It's just a wait and see game with Greg Evans.
Yes, it is a wait and see game. Wait and see game for Sam. 116 at 250. Lights still on the pace car. And so we're going to see one more lap under caution, I would imagine. There go the lights, and we're going to form up in rows of 2. Greg Evans leads it. Corey Crandall is second. Mark Cofield third. Merriman and Godinez make up the remainder of the top 5. Edwin James, Jason Heaney, Joseph Klein, Caleb Jones, and Kyle Heath, 6 through 10. Ryan O'Donohue, Mark Allett, Andrew Miller, Keith Ayers, 14 cars on the lead lap. Ben, Siegfried, Moquin, Milnes are 1 lap down, and then Langley, Carricker, Hodgson, Sharp, Green, and Craven are all multiple laps down, and many of those automobiles are on the pit lane. But we are getting ready to ride back to green flag action. Greg Evans is going to see if he can't hook the rears up on this drag strip and go one more time. There he goes. Not a very good.
A lot of cars spinning the tires there. Did you see that?
I did. Ted Craven goes all the way to the bottom on the front stretch. He went all the way to the bottom on the front stretch. Greg Evans is going to...
A lot of those cars that have not pitted yet, now they're starting to fight those tires that have some wear on it. Saw that on the start as some of those drivers were spinning the tires. Now on their entry, the car is washing up the racetrack. Now it's just real. The car is now telling them, "Hey, fresh rubber would sure be nice right about now."
Yes, it would.
Edwin James dives it too deep into the corner and collects Mark Cofield, and Corey Crandall's also involved. Edwin James tried to save it, but too late. He gets into the curb and just hits Cofield right in the left rear.
There you see it.
And that will be our stage break. That will be our stage
There
break.
you see it. Corey Crandall also involved. Heaney, who had kept the 9 clean, he gets a small piece of that, but it's in the passenger door. Hard impacts for Cofield and for the 46 of Edwin James. Caution back out on the speedway. This is going to be the stage. Greg Evans is your leader. He's going to win the stage. And with that, Sam, I'm going to continue to work this connection issue for just a few moments. All right, buddy?
Yes, sir. That's fine.
So keep our fans apprised. I will be right back.
Absolutely. There's so much to take into consideration when you get into races like this. it can be concerning that there are so many cautions, and so people are just getting so impatient, and they want to make sure that they try to get as much track position as they can. We see Greg Evans is actually now finally at the second stage. He has decided that he's going to come in and get fresh tires and a full tank of Sunoco fuel. And what that does is open up the door for some other drivers to lead this event, because up to this particular point, Greg Evans has led every single lap. And so he will pull into his pit stall. In the first pit stall that the pole sitter gets to enjoy, and the rest of the field clears around. And there are still some drivers on pit lane that are starting to or trying to get repairs. Mark Cofield is now out on pit lane, and also Mark Owlett is on pit lane trying to get some repairs. Braden Langley, who has unfortunately been in several incidences tonight, he also is trying to get repairs. Nolan Milness gets either some fresh rubber or gets some attention to his number one Lowe's machine. There's just so much action that goes on even under caution, with drivers trying to play out strategies, or whether they're trying to fit repairs in at this particular track, which happen often. And so you have to kind of keep your eye on as much as you can. I know Mark would be sharing a lot of that with us as he's trying to secure the internet issues that he has. There are still quite a number of cars that are still on the lead lap. We're showing 14 drivers on the lead lap. Joshua Siegfried will be shown as the first car a lap down. Or excuse me, Joseph Klein is actually now showing the first car a lap down. As they begin to sort out the field, and for those of you that are watching and are curious about where Greg Evans, now Greg Evans comes in after leading almost the entire first half of the race. He goes in and gets fresh tires and a full tank of fuel, and he comes out in sixth place. And he will have some of the freshest tires in the race. But now Kyle Heath is ahead of him this time. And as the green flag falls, Dylan Godinez gets a big jump. Heaney comes in and falls right in behind him, followed by Kyle Heath, and that leaves Keith Ayers in fourth. And Greg Evans will make a big move off of 2 as he dives inside of Ayers going into 3 and move Greg Evans into 4th spot. That will leave them behind these drivers, working hard to try and make up positions as they're 2 by 2. Oh, and they're 3 wide going in. Edwin James into the door of Andrew Miller, but they keep it together. Andrew Miller drives through the middle, and now caution is out again on the racetrack.
Sam, thank you so much for helping me out there. We're resetting we're resetting switches and plugging cords in, unplugging cords in and out, and trying to do just about anything we can to restore the service that our fans at the P1 Broadcasting Network have come to know from the channel. Under caution one more time. It did not take Greg Evans that long to get back there, did it?
No, sir, it did not. Well, again, he came out in 6th position, so he didn't have a whole lot of space to have to worry about making up. What we saw on this particular caution was that drivers were driving into turn 1, and James Hodgson and Michael Moquin, who was trying to move inside of Hodgson, was coming up on Ted Craven and the 80 of Mark Owlett. And so they're checking up incredibly hard here on entry. Michael Moquin gets slowed down, but Mark Cofield does not. And so he gets into the back of Moquin and then turns him around briefly. And that is just enough, though both drivers were able to get their noses turned around and straight on the racetrack. It was enough of a spin to bring out our most recent caution. And that will lead... actually, yes, Mark Cofield and Michael Moquin will now go back into the pits. Both of these drivers are 3 laps down and try to get more repairs to their already abused race cars tonight.
Yes, they are, and you see the yellow light flash. And we saw some virtual fans. They're in line to get themselves a hot dog here at Martinsville. There's one of the safety trucks. The detail in this thing is incredible. I had never noticed, Sam, and and maybe I just never paid attention because I'm always looking at something else on my dash or, trying to adjust things internally. But the pit road lights, those are interesting. They're almost the red light, the green light at the beginning and entrance of pit road. Those things are almost distracting.
They, especially on exit, because you see two distinctive lines there.
Well, at a place like Martinsville too, they're right on top of each other.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The entry light and the exit light are within 100 feet.
Yes, sir.
There's the entry light, and the exit light is just on the other side of it. We're going to come back to green flag racing. Jason Heaney leads at Kyle Heath.
Green.
Greg Evans, Sean Merriman, Caleb Jones, and Ryan O'Donoghue.
Oh, heavens, Greg Evans gets a huge jump, and Kyle Heath now has to work ahead of him on the outside as they're door-to-door on this restart, and Heaney has got two hot shoe drivers right behind him.
Yeah, and
excellent driving there by Kyle Heath. He has fresher tires, and he and Greg Evans are fighting furiously to catch Heaney here.
Now, according to my calculations here, Sam, Jason Heaney has not yet stopped. He is on 132 lap old tires. Yeah. So
Kyle Heath actually had the best position there on the outside.
Yeah, and Greg Evans is going to get through.
We have another caution out on the track.
It's Moquin and Braden Langley again. Braden Langley now has disconnected or towed or been disconnected or, well, maybe not, but he's definitely flashing. We'll see what's happened here. Michael Moquin.
I don't think Langley was involved until after the fact. Moquin comes driving up on Benz and Hodgson, who are racing door to door on 3, and again he's really high on his entry, and then he loses the back of the car, either with again steering input or just up in the marbles, and then Langley hits him head on, and that may have been all that the 25 car could take tonight. Maybe it was just time to cry uncle for that car.
Yeah, I don't have an incident count, but maybe Sam, you could shed some light on this. Some leagues do have disqualification limits, and I can't.
Yes, sir.
I can't recall if there's one in this league, but if there's a X limit,
according to the information for this particular event with the AMA, there is no incident count penalties in this race. There are no, and there is no incident count DQ limit. So those particular things are not cut on for these races in the AMA.
Gotcha. So that was just a thought. If you've got guys that have been involved in several incidents, in some leagues they'll throw you out. So they'll
set a limit, and after a limit, they will the sim will actually expel you from the event after you exceed that limit.
Most certainly will. Now, do want to and I guess the figuring of people that don't do that is, look, if you've been involved in that many incidents to be disqualified, your car is probably not drivable much anyway. We did have one.
I've been in races like this at Martinsville. I've been in many races like this in Martinsville. Many races like this in Martinsville.
It's just
cautions breeding cautions. And I will tell you, there's been several instances where when you have this many cautions, is that I've done it as an administrator. I've done it as I've been a part of it in several different leagues. But sometimes the administrators will get tired of the side-by-sides, and they'll go to a single-file restart in hopes that drivers will actually calm themselves down and give themselves an opportunity just to go racing. There may be more passes out there for some of these drivers if everyone just give a lot more give than take.
You got a good point there, Sam. Narkbrain checks in, and he says, the biggest difference between these and an open wheeler is that, in these cars you can keep going after a wreck. It's easier to make a better day out of it. I was going to say, we had a race, I want to say it was
green flag.
Either the Horizon League or it was Area 51, one or the other, where we had a guy hit the incident limit, and it was like 16x in one of those cars. And yes, we were all amazed that he was still out there circulating with 16X, because normally any sort of a touch in those machines and you're done.
Is a 4X. Is a 4X.
Well,
yes.
and then you're done. Well, we're
Oh,
gonna
and the
have
12
more
goes
X's.
around. Caleb Jones goes around. Oh, big contact.
Is out.
Big contact with Trevor Benz. Oh, my heavens. Wow, Trevor Benz has been working on that car all night long. And once the 12 goes around, oh, my heavens, the 94 or Troy Carragher has nowhere to go. Working on again connectivity issues that they may be having in the Indiana region. And so Kyle Heath is our leader. Greg Evans is in second place. Jason Heaney is in third place. And my understanding from Mark Stapp, who Jason Heaney has not pitted yet. Sean Merriman in fourth. Ryan O'Donohue, who actually was a lap down at one point, is actually on the lead lap again in the fifth position. Andrew Miller is in sixth. Corey Crandall seventh. Joshua Siegfried in eighth. Mark Owlett in ninth. Joseph Klein in 10th. Dylan Godinez in 11th. Keith Ayers in 12th. Nolan Milnes in 13th. Edwin James 14th. Trevor Benz 15th. Caleb Jones is 16th. Mark Cofield, Michael Moquin, Troy Carragher, Braden Langley. Actually, I think Troy Carragher may be the last. Nope. James Hodgson is the last car on the lead lap from what I see. And so we are coming back to green flag, and Kyle Heath gets a jump, and Heaney gets a great restart in behind him, but Greg Evans with fresh tires will get a big runoff of 2 on the outside as they fall in line behind Kyle Heath. Andrew Miller with a big move on the outside of Ryan Donahue. That'll be your next door-to-door race coming off of turn 4. They're battling hard as Andrew Miller again is trying to dive it deep on the high side and get a big run, but Ryan O'Donohue will hold him off, and they too will fall in line with Corey Crandall with the best seat in the house for that battle as he is behind them. And then a little further back, Dylan Godinez will be door-to-door with Mark Owlett as caution is back out on the racetrack. Caution is back out on the racetrack. And let's see if we can find out what's going on with this particular incident. And we will see that the 94 of Troy Carragher is coming down on the inside, and he just doesn't. He misses his braking mark just terribly in that particular instance. James Hodgson was just able to just make light contact with the outside wall. Other than the contact with Hodgson's left rear, Carragher also light damage to his particular car. Boy, he really missed his. I just think in that particular instance, you just don't drive the car that deep into the corner unless you just missed your braking point. Trevor Benz will be the lucky dog on this particular occasion. I'm beginning to think that Trevor Benz is more lucky than Lassie, because he has got more lucky dogs tonight than any other driver that I'm aware of.
I'm going to have to use
that will
Sam.
put Trevor Benz back on the.
I'm going to have
so he will be back on the lead lap.
I'm going to have to use that. I do have everything reconnected back up to the
excellent
to the primary internet connection, and we should be back with our fans momentarily with the live pictures here from virtual Martinsville. I do want to thank everybody again for our patience. We tried to do it. We tried to do it old school by telephone. That didn't seem to be working out very well. I've tried to do it. I've tried 2 different internet connections now. I ran upstairs not too long ago and completely reset the entire internet connection for our house. So I am hoping that's gonna remedy things here, and we can get going again. That's something that I normally do anyway before we get going on one of these things. But I don't, and I apologize, and I thank everybody. My wife looked at me like I was.
Well, I will tell you this, Mark. With all your diligence and efforts to correct the issues that you've had, our viewers have remained, actually they're as high as they've been all night, and so I'm really humbled that the folks are really willing to stick it out, and despite the connectivity issues that we've been dealing with, the viewership has remained steady, and so we really want to thank our faithful for staying with us as Mark has worked through this like a soldier.
So, I was going to say I ran upstairs and went to go went to do the thing, and my wife looked at me like I was completely nuts. And but it was and we're back with live action. She said to me, and pointed out the router we think is original to the internet connection that we got when we bought the house. We bought the house 13 years ago, so it could be that it's just getting a little long in the tooth. Back to green flag action, though. Kyle Heath is your leader. Greg Evans, he's going to get the jump. He's going to be second. Heaney and Merriman, they're going to do battle for third and fourth. And right behind them, Ryan O'Donohue has made his way up to fifth. He's looking to challenge for whoever comes off worse in the battle for third.
Oh, and Corey Crandall. Oh, there's a Rick. You just mentioned Ryan O'Donohue.
Hard
mentioned
wreck.
Ryan O'Donohue.
Several cars in deep trouble going down the front straight there.
Oh, and it's Sean Merriman. Actually, Sean Merriman gets loose off of the corner, off of turn 4. And once he gets loose, he just immediately comes down and hits O'Donohue in the door right in front of the field. Wow.
And then everybody.
Andrew Miller really took a ton of front end damage in this particular incident. Ryan O'Donohue hits the inside wall with the front of the car. That could be terminal for Ryan O'Donohue, who has worked so hard to get back into this race.
Watch the hit for Joseph Klein here. This is a big one for Joseph Klein. He's in the number 7.
Oh, yes.
There you see, and you got multiple cars coming off of that corner, getting in the wall. And watch this. He's going to get tagged from Nolan Milnes and then hard in the back of the number 40 of Andrew Miller. And Milnes, if you notice, Nolan Milnes just stops.
He did.
And this might be the, when it comes down to it, this might be the move of the race. Watch Nolan.
He does get into the back of Joseph Klein.
He does.
Because Joseph Klein almost has the car completely stopped for the incident, and then Milnes gets into the back of him. And so he did get into the back of him enough that he brought Joseph Klein into the incident. But Joseph Klein, Andrew Miller, Ryan O'Donohue, Sean Merriman, Corey Crandall. Is that the 99 I think I see back there? The 99 of Joshua Siegfried. All of those cars were the recipients of sincerely hard front end damage. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see who survives that.
I got to give Barney credit up there in that flag stand. He didn't even flinch, Sam. There he goes. Now he decides to throw. That's right. Now he throws the yellow. So good job, Barney. That's right. Good job to Barney, the flag man here. Back to live action. We've got Greg Evans.
A lot of folks may not know this, but Greg Evans is a second generation NASCAR flagman.
Is that right? I did not.
Yes, sir. Greg Evans' father was a flagman for the NASCAR modified division. And then when his father decided to step down from that position, Greg Evans stepped into that role. And then he would later become a race director for the NASCAR modified division, Wheeling modified division. And so he has since retired from that, but he is a second generation NASCAR flagman.
And he is not the only flagman that you'll find in these events or in races on P1 Broadcasting. You're not going to see him very often as we go back to green right now. But the current flagman for the IndyCar series and one of their advanced men, Aaron Likens, is a regular in the offseason in the top split races. I don't know if you knew that. If you knew that, Sam,
I did not know that.
He.
Oh, and the 94 Carragher goes around in the middle of 3 and 4 this time. I don't know if anyone selected him. Now this is an interesting. Oh wait, yes, Mark Cofield gets into the back of him and gives him a little help there, and that's exactly how Troy Carragher is. I thought maybe it was a self spin, but it's not self spin when you have someone else's front bumper on you.
No, it's not. And good work from Ted Craven there on the top to not plow in to the 94 of Troy Carricker. So caution is back out on the speedway. Carricker is going to come in. He's going to take 4 new tires and probably affect whatever repair he can. But as I was saying, you'll find Aaron Likens in a Al Unser Jr. 1992 paint scheme. So if you ever see a Valvoline Indy car running around on a Monday or on a Tuesday night, it could be the IndyCar flagman. We've got a NASCAR retired NASCAR official in the field here. The number 2, Greg Evans. Number 9, Josh Heaney. Joshua Heaney's going to come. He's going to pull it on pit road here, Sam.
Finally, after 160 laps, he comes in to get fresh rubber and fuel.
He said, "I've had enough."
Well, let me say this. If you remember back in the broadcast, I was telling you about the front runners and the psychology that goes into races like this when there are so many caution flags. And while you were telling me a little bit about the Indy flagman and things like that, I'm listening to the in-race chat, and Kyle Heath and Greg Evans both are now becoming a little bit more vocal about wanting to finish this race under green without so many cautions. Now it gets into your psyche, it gets into your thinking, and it just begins to really just gnaw at you. And sometimes it can really just frustrate you to the point you may make a mistake or not. And even though these guys are seasoned drivers, they are just as human as anyone else in the field. They get frustrated, they get aggravated, and they may even hit the button and say some things. And so I don't want to say I'm a prophet, but they are starting to get a little bit more vocal now in leading this field and telling the field, hey guys, let's settle down and finish this thing like we know we can.
Yeah, and you know, I can understand from a driver's perspective the frustration. The green flag was out last time for 27 seconds. So
Green flag,
you
green
know,
flag.
we're gonna start the stopwatch again here. The unofficial P1 broadcasting stopwatch brought to you by Tag Heuer. The stopwatch is going. Kyle Heath leads it. Greg Evans second. Corey Crandall thought about second. Didn't quite get there.
2 cars go wide up into turn 4. Mark Owlett goes all the way to the wall.
Yeah, I saw that, and we got the camera on him. Trevor Benz, by the way, has got the 3 repaired. Benz has made it back to 9th. I thought there was no way that this car, no way that car would have gotten back in the race. And here it is. It's on the lead lap. It wasn't long ago. There was no hood and smoke pouring out of the front of that automobile, and he's back in
You'll have
9th.
to get the theme song for Lassie out.
Yeah, I mean, for certain, sure. We got one car around.
Oh,
Caution.
now we have another caution on the field.
Caution is on the speedway. We've got the 94 involved. We've got Joshua Siegfried is involved. There's some extracurricular activity between Braden Langley and the 94 of Troy Carricker.
Oh, no. It was Carragher and Joshua Siegfried get together.
All right, so let's see how this all happens or comes to pass.
Well, Siegfried is high on entry, and he's trying to get this car straightened off so he can get a big run coming off of 2. And Carragher goes to fill the hole that Siegfried leaves open down there, and so they just again. Siegfried trying to straighten that corner out for a big run, and Carragher is there filling that gap at the last second. And then Braden Langley, big contact into the back of Carragher.
Yeah, that was hard. And then, you know, the tempers are starting to boil, Sam.
Oh yeah, there's no question. There's some frustrated drivers tonight.
There you see it. They're beginning to boil over in those cars. It's a long night. It's a hot night. And
Yes, sir.
guys are
We've been at it almost 2 hours now. For 2 hours.
yeah. It's a long time to be sitting there. Of course, broadcasters, we can get up and move around a little bit. If you're, if you're one of these drivers in these cars, one of the things that you're going to start fighting here as we get 168 of 250 laps. When you're running around under green, it's not that big of a deal. But when you're under caution, that's when the rear end starts to hurt. That's when you feel it in whatever part of your body you feel it in. For me, it's usually the collarbone area. It seems like, Sam.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
From turn the wheel. If you've got a direct drive wheel, this can get physical, and so guys are starting to get tired. Your butt's asleep. You can't feel
You're
the
shaking
tops.
your arms. You're trying to stretch your legs. Your body just begins to wear.
It's
in these particular cases.
Somebody asked me one time what it was like to run the iRacing Indy 500, and I said, go sit in your car, in the driver's seat, for 4 hours and don't move.
4 hours.
Don't move. Just sit there. Don't drive anywhere. Don't go 200 miles an hour. Just sit there for 4 hours. That's what it's like.
It's really not fair, though, because when you're in an Indy car, you're pulling G's when you're in those corners. In a real Indy car, of course, you're not doing it in the sim, but...
Well, yes, but...
I can imagine pulling those kind of G's for
Kyle Heath is pulling into pit lane.
Solid hours. He sure is.
Kyle Heath has come down the pit road. What has happened here? Sam, anything on the radio?
No one. I've not heard anybody say anything. Only thing, after the last second caution to go, Kyle Heath did kind of send out a gesture out his window and told the field they're number one. But other than that, I cannot explain why Kyle Heath pulled off of the racetrack.
He did a drive-through and has come back out. He's not yet lost a lap. I wonder if they got him for jumping the start. And that's the drive-through.
I'm going back and looking at the start. I'm looking here. I do not see.
Did he go too early in the box, maybe?
No. He actually started within the Geico restart zone, which is his full right to do.
Too fast?
Now that could be a possibility. He could have been over the pace speed.
Okay. So for
And then, of course, the sim, he may be an over pace speed as he got to the Geico restart zone.
Yeah. So for those of you who aren't familiar, when you come into the Geico restart zone in a NASCAR event in iRacing, there is a box that pops up on your screen, and it tells you the pace car speed, it tells you your speed, and it tells you whether or not you are in front of the leader or not. It is the leader's right. The leader has to maintain pace car speed once they get to the box, and it is the leader's right to go whenever they get into the box. The second place car has to maintain pace car speed, and they cannot pass the leader, and they are not allowed to go. Caution is out on the speedway. We've got a car around. That's going to be Dylan Godinez in the 08. And
that's going to get Kyle Heath back up toward the field.
It is indeed. I can't tell if there was...
I was in his cockpit watching him. He has got his hand. He's up on the wheel because he's actually shifting in the corners. He's actually shifting down to third gear.
Yeah, and
he is up on that wheel, and he's going to go back. I think he's going to go get fresh tires.
I wouldn't doubt it. He is the last car on the lead lap. Why not? He's not going to fall any further back. That's Dylan Godinez. He got a little bit too high on entry. Same kind of story that we've seen all night. Under caution lap.
Seen a lot of that tonight.
Yeah, under caution lap 178. There's the aforementioned Kyle Heath. He is headed down pit lane, and I bet we're going to see both sides of that car go up in the air for fresh tires. And that's going to give him a huge advantage with 70 laps to go. The issue is he's going to have to fight all the way back through the field again We'll see where he comes out. There are cars on pit road under repair. You see Trevor Benz there. He's going to beat Benz out. So Heath is going to come out 8th.
And I'm sorry, 1 second. It looks as though someone tomahawked the middle of Greg Evans, number 2, as the entire rear bumper is caved in the middle. That's not going to make any difference in how the car handles, but it certainly is his badge of honor tonight.
And there
as it seems like even the fastest of cars are getting their due diligence of dents.
There you see it. It looks like an upside down smiley face on the back of Greg Evans' machine. We assure you, that's probably not the case in the car, but the rear bumper is giving Nolan Milnes a frown. It is nice and caved in. There's no damage otherwise to the deuce, though.
So the back should not say "I am second." It should say "I am dented."
I'm gonna blow the air horn in Sam's honor that time. We'll give it.
Thank you.
We're getting
all right. They're banging each other already under caution. They're already starting to hit each other under caution. These guys are getting tired. I can fully understand why they would feel this way, but hopefully we'll be able to put together some green flag. Oh, and Milnes spins the tires dramatically on that restart.
They are, and that's going to allow the 46 of Edwin James. He's going to pull right up on the back of Nolan Milnes. Meanwhile, Greg Evans escapes. Kyle Heath is 6th, and he's looking for 5th on Joseph Klein. He's got Heaney. He's got the car of Jason Heaney right in front of him, and they've kind of got Heath boxed in on those new tires back there, Sam.
Now, Heaney, actually, his tires are not that old, and there's several caution laps on those tires because he pitted at lap 160.
Right, and remember, he had to stop then.
And he blanked out. Oh, wow, he has really got some connectivity issues.
Yeah, there.
Oh, and Kyle Heath he backs out. Kyle Heath, with great race intelligence there, he backs out and allows Jason to get back into the server. So that
we've got caution on the Speedway. That's Andrew Miller around in the backstretch. Caution on lap 183 of 250, and he's gonna get on the power coming out of turn 2, and around she goes toward the inside wall.
Loses the back of the car.
Yep, loses the back of the car. I don't think he hit anything, Sam.
No, he never even made contact to the inside wall. He was able to keep it clean. And well, I take that back. As he's tried to get the car straightened up, he did hit the left front on the inside wall just a touch, but nothing dramatic or that would cause any damage.
No, but it does put us under caution on lap 184 of 250. Whoever in the crowd out there had the over for cautions, you win.
Yes.
You win.
Go collect your money, and we will try to finish this race under green.
You can apply for your winnings by writing to the P1 Broadcasting Network, care of Gary Godso. He'll get you paid.
That actually would.
Sam.
Yes. There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
Don't write to Gary and ask him for money, please.
Well, now Caleb Jones has actually thrown in the towel.
Yeah.
As he is disconnected from the server.
He's done there. The field on the track is starting to look a lot less crowded, Sam.
We're at half. I believe now we're at half of the entries of our event tonight that are left on the track. It's thinned out quite a bit, which is very surprising because I would have thought by this time that we would actually have calmed down a little bit enough to. But when you have cars that have extensive damage like this, sometimes it takes a few laps to try and find out exactly what the car is going to do with that existing damage. Even though you may get it fixed, it can change the geometry of the car enough that it drives differently.
You know, that's a great point, and something else I kind of wanted to just ask you because I can't see it, Sam. The weather, the track is now 80 degrees instead of the 78 we started with. But my question for you, Sam, since you can see it but I can't, What's going on with the time?
Well, that's a great question because we're getting at sundown here in Martinsville.
Now Martinsville does
And
have lights, right? We do.
it does have lights.
So we do have
It
lights.
does have lights.
We do have lights. How long do we have in the session? That's the next question.
Green flag.
Greg Evans gets the drop on Nolan Millis, by the way. But how much longer do we have in the session? Everybody safely through the first.
Okay. So we're fine as far as the race itself. There's a 3-hour limit, or actually almost 4 hours. So there's plenty of time in the session to finish the race out on the laps allotted.
Gotcha.
It's just a matter of these guys just wanting to settle down and just wanting to preserve their cars and finish the race under green if they choose to. A lot of drivers are still being quite aggressive at this point. Some are being extremely tentative. This is the kind of racing that Martinsville produces sometimes. It just is. It doesn't necessarily denote that the drivers of the AMA are bad drivers. It just more points to the technical prowess that's required to run this particular track with that many cars on it.
Sam, we've seen Coke races here like this. So it has nothing to do with the drivers. It's just more a product of the facility.
Not.
We've got smoke. We've got the 40 of Andrew Miller all the way down on the apron. Nobody around. We continue to go green. Greg Evans has driven away from Jason Heaney 2.5 seconds, and that's why we're watching. That's why we're watching 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th right here. Andrew Miller has gotten himself back on the lead lap. It wasn't too long ago that we had thought that 40 car was, and there's a caution.
Oh, and another caution out on the track.
You see it, Sam?
I'm looking. Oh, yeah, it would be Mark Owlett in turns 3 and 4, and he and Braden Langley come together. Mark Owlett is actually he's almost two car widths off the bottom, and Langley drives down on the inside and has a lot of a momentum there, and then washes completely up the racetrack into the side of Owlett.
There you go. Tough break for Owlett too, because
So now tempers are starting to really show themselves, and the administration is now informing drivers to follow protocol if they have any kind of suggestions about other drivers and incidences on track.
I'm sure there are.
It's getting tense. It's getting tense.
I'm sure there are suggestions that are happening.
If we can just keep Kyle Heath from telling all the other drivers they're number one.
You know, I just want to ask Kyle what's in the refreshment glass in the Busch Ice machine down there, and how he's managed to race this long without having to take a break. Kyle Heath, notorious for under a stage break using the facilities. He's not going to have time to do that here at Martinsville, so going to have to be careful with the intake, so to speak.
Which I would not dare discuss what the drivers are talking about now, because they've been in their sims now for 2 hours.
Well, longer than that, Sam. Practice opened at 7. So some of these,
so they could have very well been here 3 hours.
Yeah.
And now you have to take into account what the effects on the human body are that come into play when you're sitting in one place for an extended amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny to hear the interaction that's going on in the race right now.
You know, and people, people may think that's funny, but again, that's what I tell people, what it's like to run 500 miles.
It's real life.
Yeah,
It's real.
Go sit in your car for 4 hours and don't move. Just sit there.
Yeah, well, take Mark Murphy. Mark Murphy in the broadcast. It's not unusual, Mark, after the broadcast and we're done enjoying these AMA races, that he'll say, "I'll be right back."
Yeah, leap up and go to the bathroom. David Dunwoody checking in. He says he feels fine, Mr. Crow. What'd you bowl tonight, Andy? What'd you get? A hot 75 over there? Green flag is going to come back out. Greg Evans is going to lead it. Jason Heaney second. Heath and Milnes are on row 2. Heath gets a heck of a jump. Heaney spins the tires hard on the outside. Nolan Milnes plows into the back of the 9, and Kyle Heath is going to resume station right behind Greg Evans, and this might be his chance, Sam.
Oh, this is going to be a good race now. You're going to have Greg with a little bit older tires and Kyle Heath, who has charged his way back up to the front. And now we have another caution on the field.
One more caution on the Speedway.
I can't see who it is.
Well, and my mouse fell down, so I'm...
Oh, I see it now. It's the 35 of Corey Crandall is actually sideways in 3 and 4, and he doesn't stay there long, but long enough to bring out the caution. He actually saved the car with no damage. No one hit him. He was sideways enough to initiate the caution on the field.
All right, we're going to get Corey Crandall up here. And there he is. It's just kind of a lazy spin. He keeps it off the fence, keeps it going, doesn't make contact with anybody. The teddy bear slips by, but he's slow enough that it triggers the iRacing caution. He's going to come in, put on a new pair of boots, so to speak. And so Corey Crandall is going to pit under his own yellow. 94 of Troy Character. He is going past the pace car. He's going to be the lucky dog. So move Carricker to 6 laps down. Mark Cofield is 3 laps down. He is 14th.
Right.
But he is not in position, I don't believe, to get the lucky dog this time. Again, we saw Carricker.
There may have been some contact, right? There may have been some contact in that, somewhere in that caused him not to get the lucky dog.
And that's very true, and that's something that can be so frustrating about a Martinsville, Wilkesboro track that's a short track. You're in position to get the lucky dog, but because you got 0x, avoiding an accident, you don't get the lucky dog. And so...
or actually stopping on the track will prevent you from getting the lucky dog as well.
Yeah, I had that happen at Lime Rock once.
Yes.
In a truck race.
If you stop, you may not hit anything, but at the caution, if your car stops, then it deems that you were part of the incident, and you will not receive that benefit.
You don't get the lucky dog. It wasn't Lime Rock. It was Scuba. Give a shout out to Justin Kirby. He's joined us along with Mike Rigney in the chat.
Oh, it's always good to have Justin join us.
It most certainly is.
He's broadcasting about Depends. That's what a lot of drivers may consider wearing during these races.
The more polite term is astronaut pants, I do believe. Dunwoody has informed us that his bowling score was 683. Is that across 12 games, Dunwoody, or how many games is that? We've got Greg Evans. He's going to get the jump one more time, and as it's been for 203 laps, he's got a rear view mirror full of Kyle Heath. And
a caution! We didn't even last 20 seconds that time.
Nolan Milnes around in the 1. And let's see what's happened to Nolan. This is off the restart.
He's on the outside of Mark Owlett as they go into Corey Crandall gets hard into the back of Owlett, and it just sends him shooting straight up the racetrack into Nolan Milnes. Again, this is just one of those situations where drivers have to be so aware of the cars that are in front of them and watching their braking points. That is it's just an accordion type situation. Then Mark Cofield can't get his car woed up enough, and he gets into the back of Milnes.
Hodgson gets involved.
Yes, boy, James Hodgson. It seems like he has been caught in more than his fair share of these incidents tonight, and been so innocent. Absolutely been innocent.
And here's the thing for Cofield: he's in position to get the lucky dog, and comes by and grazes the number 1, and now he doesn't
Now he does not get that benefit.
He does not get that benefit. It's going to go to Troy Carricker again. And there goes Carricker right around. He goes to 5 laps down. He's gotten 2 laps back at the expense of Mark Cofield, who hasn't done anything wrong, just been in the wrong place at the wrong time, I suppose. Meanwhile, we've got some strategy playing out at the front. Joseph Klein has brought the number 7 down pit lane. He is in his box. There is damage on that car. He is having some of it repaired. He and Nolan Milnes right behind him are on the lead lap. And so I would surmise that they're thinking, hey, I might come get me some tars and I might be in pretty good shape. Justin Kirby is exactly right. There's the end of the pit stop, 31.8 in the box for Joseph Klein. Nolan Milnes, 22 seconds. So they did affect some repair. Meanwhile, we're going to have a start coming back here. And Kirby, how's the School of Hard Knocks? We've got the stopwatch out to tell us how long we're under green flag action, brother. That stopwatch brought to you by Mark Cohn, the Watchman.
The Watchman
is providing the timing and scoring this evening. So thank you so much, Mark.
We're doing fine aficionado of watch apparel.
We're doing it by hand tonight. And so,
I have a sundial at this point, and it just doesn't seem to be working.
Well, the sun is down, Sam. That only works when the sun is out.
I rest my case.
What's the line from the football coach in the movie? How fast was that, coach? I don't know. I don't have a sundial.
Oh, and Greg Evans. Greg Evans goes into the pit. Greg Evans, did he get penalized on this particular restart?
I think he had to have, because Greg Evans makes that same dive that Kyle Heath did down the pit lane.
He sure did.
Oh, no, Greg Evans, and he's going to complete the drive-through, and this is the longest, most agonizing drive. 35 miles an hour. Don't speed and make it worse. Here comes Evans.
I think Greg is saying he got bumped on the restart. I'll have to go back and look and see exactly how that played out. He's not going to come out. He's going to come out just ahead
of Kyle
Heath.
Yes, he is.
He is just ahead of him.
And I'm sure the temperature inside the deuce is well above 210.
Let's go back and look at this restart and see, because Dylan Godinez is behind him. And Dylan does come. Well, there is some bumping going on. Andrew Miller gets into the back of Godinez. Godinez just taps Greg. I don't know. It just doesn't look like it would constitute enough momentum that would cause Greg to get a penalty. But apparently it was enough for iRacing to say, "Hey, bring that deuce in, and you're gonna do a drive-through."
Yeah, and there's definitely contact between the 08 and the 2. Now, was that enough to make him go faster than pace car speed, or was it enough for him to exceed pace car speed, or was it enough? Was it enough? I mean, certainly it was. Unfortunate for Greg Evans, though. He is still on the lead lap. I would wager to say that we're not done having cautions yet. Although,
well, if nothing else, Greg Evans is probably thrilled to death to have all this green racetrack or open racetrack in front of him, so that he can run the hottest laps that he's run this evening.
There's the caution. It's Cofield, and it's right in front of Greg Evans. For the record, we were under green for 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Once again, that time brought to you by Mark Cohn and in his website, The Joy of Driving. I want to thank the Watchman for providing timing and scoring this evening. Kyle Heath leads it. We're under caution because Mark Cofield had a lazy spin through turns 3 and 4. There it is. You see it. Up the racetrack he goes, just backs it into the fence a touch.
Jason Heaney just decides he's just going to stop. He's just not going to take a chance in any damage to his race car.
But that was right in front of the leader, right? That was right in front of Greg Evans. It was right in front of Kyle Heath.
Yes. Unfortunately, he's way up above the race line and up against the wall. So there was really no detriment of anyone getting collected there as far as the leaders go, but enough to bring out the caution and allow Greg Evans to get caught back up to the field. However, Greg running in 12th at the time. Greg is going to have a lot of cars ahead of him, unless there be drivers that come in to institute more repairs to their car. And there are quite a few cars ahead of him that probably still need repairs.
There are. Greg Evans does bring it to pit road. He brought it there in 13th. He's going to come off in 11th, and he does have new tires. And so, let's kind of note that Joseph Klein is now on the pit lane. So Evans is going to line it back up 10th. He's going to have to be careful, but we know that the Deuce is a fast hot rod. We got 33 laps to go. Let's go ahead and put that up here. 34 laps to go here. We'll reset the field for you. Kyle Heath is the leader. Dylan Godden is second. Andrew Miller third. Edwin James fourth. Keith Ayers is fifth. Corey Crandall, Mark Allouette, Trevor Benz, Michael Moquin, and the aforementioned Greg Evans round out your top 10. Benz, Moquin, Greg Evans, Jason Heaney in 11th, Nolan Milnes 12th, and Joseph Klein in 13th. All have fresh tires. So note that positions 8 through 13 lead lap fresh tires. Troy Carricker is 14th. He is 5 laps down. He has been the recipient of several lucky dogs. Mark Cofield is punched out. Siegfried, Hodgson, Langley, and Craven continue to circulate. That 16th through 19th. Caleb Jones is out. Merriman, O'Donohue, Sharp, and Kendall Paul still parked on pit road. They have been under repair for more than 30 minutes. Green flag is out. Kyle Heath reaches out and races away.
Oh, they're making contact on the restart. Michael Moquin gets.
Well, they're not done making contact.
And Michael, actually, Allouette is really having a very tough time on his restart. Andrew Miller washes way up the racetrack as.
So does Corey Crandall.
Trying to get sorted out behind him.
So did Crandall. That let Evans move from the high side to the low side. Greg Evans has already gone from 10th to 7th. He's looking for 6th. That's Keith Ayers.
He's on the inside of Ayers. He does understand that these cars in front of him are somewhat damaged or have older tires, as Ayers gets into the wall and almost collects Crandall.
And that's the...
Watch this big run. Watch this big run he does on the backside right here.
Well, we got Milnes around. Hard accident in the back.
Benz had other ideas there. Remember, Benz had ideas that he was going to hold that spot.
Yes, he was. Nolan Milnes around hard into the inside wall. We are under caution with 29 laps to go here at Martinsville. And here's Nolan Milnes. That was a hard lick. And let's see what's happened to him. They get the 98 and the 35. That is Keith Ayers and Corey Crandall in front. Milnes tries to go to the bottom. I think he got too greedy on the power. He's going to loop it. And the number 9 and Jason Heaney is going to get.
Not say his car is undented now.
No, it is definitely dented. The fenders are bent. Allouette gets a piece. Ted Craven going by on the top. That's Hodgson going by on the top. He gets into it. Allouette hard in the inside wall. Joseph Conkline gets collected at the end. Ted Craven is going to pull his car to a stop to avoid further contact. But we are under caution one more time. 28 laps to go here. Greg Evans, though, I don't think Greg minds these cautions. It re-racks everybody. It puts them on top of each other again. And for Greg, it's easier to pass them that way.
Well, he's going to get a great opportunity here in this particular case because he's going to start on the outside.
No, he's going to start on the inside. You mean? He's fifth.
He's in fifth. You're right. I was looking at Trevor Benz at the time. But in my opinion, the outside would probably be the more popular line. However, with Edwin James and Andrew Miller, who have suffered some damage in the race, starting in the second and third spot, it's going to be interesting to see how those cars sort themselves out on a restart, because there could be a lot of wheel spin depending on when they had their tires last, and then Greg has to make a tough decision if he wants to really hug the bottom, which he's proved that he can do, and try and make his passes, which he was trying trying to do before the caution came out on the inside of Trevor Benz off of 2. Now these guys know that time is running out, and they're going to fight for these positions because they want a good finish, regardless of whether or not this race has 1, 2, or 3 more cautions. These guys want to have a top 5 or a podium. They've raced here just as long as Greg has, and they want to earn their spot just as much as any other driver on the field.
Well, and the calculus is a little bit different in a series that does a playoff and a championship 4 and all that too. Greg Evans already in that playoff. He's got 2 wins. He's already scored max stage points in this race. He's not worried about points. He's here for the trophy now. Kyle Heath, same difference. He's locked in. If you're Andrew Miller, Trevor Benz.
Green flag, green flag.
Oop, we're on the green.
Edwin James.
Okay,
Andrew
Miller does not get a good start here.
No, spun the tires.
He'll wash up the racetrack, and Greg Evans will easily get on the inside. This is the ideal start for Greg Evans if he wants to catch back up with Kyle Heath. Now, if he's smart, he'll just bide his time to get by Edwin James here.
He will.
He does have fresher tires.
He does, and he's got the nose alongside.
I think James will concede the position.
Yeah, that's. And
he does smart racing by Edwin James. Smart racing as they all get nose to tail behind them.
Discretion.
Sorting this thing out.
Discretion, the better part of valor there for Edwin James.
Yes, sir.
We've only got 9 cars on the lead lap now. Godness has gone a lap down. You're riding on the nose with Greg Evans as he tries to chase down Kyle Heath, and we'll do one better. Let's show you what Greg Evans sees right around the curb. What I'm not seeing from Greg is a whole lot of contretemps out of that car.
Very interested. I haven't rode with Greg. Let me see. Yes, Greg is actually also shifting. I was in the car with Kyle Heath earlier in the race. He was shifting through the corners, and now I'm in the cockpit with Greg Evans, and he also shifting as he starts to close in on Heath going into 1.
And there is Greg Evans. It's not shifting. He's not shifting on my screen, but whatever he's doing, it's working. He just ran the fastest lap of the race as he hunts down the rapid number 13.
And around goes Edwin James and brings out another caution.
And there's the 46. He is around, and we're going to give our fans 3 guesses as to how this happened. He is all alone. Kirby, Ryan O'Donoghue, David Dunwoody.
Oh, Kyle Heath goes in. Kyle Heath goes into the pit area.
What in tarnation?
Less than 20 laps to go. Kyle Heath goes in.
He has come to pit lane. Holy Moses. Kyle Heath is on the pit lane.
Kyle's a veteran. Kyle is a veteran. There has to be some logic behind his thinking here.
Well, I can tell you what the logic might be. And that is he's going to come out 7th probably.
Well, of course he's going to have a decent restart position. But will he have time to catch Evans, who's proved that he's exceptionally fast all night long?
Well, remember that.
Let's not just put it up to Evans. Let's give credit where credit's due. Kyle will have to do the same thing that Greg did and make his way up through this hungry field of drivers who are frustrated and eager to get a good finish.
Well, but they're, and he's taking some repair, I think. He's been there.
He did have right rear damage. You're right.
Yeah, so he's taking some repair, and there he goes. He's going to get out and beat the pace car. But look, my point being, Kyle Heath's a smart guy. He saw Greg Evans restart in 10th spot and be on his bumper in what amounted to 3 or 4 green flag laps. So he's not, he's smart enough to know that tires can matter here, and he's going to want him some.
Oh, I agree.
I agree. He's also going to restart 9th, so it's not like he's got all that far to go. Yeah. He's going to restart 9th. He's not got all that far to go. Well, 8th now because Dylan Godness is the lucky dog. So Godness is going to go to the back.
He could have the same thing play into his hands that Greg did, where cars in front of him may not get the best of starts, and his particular line will get an advantage. And Kyle's smart enough and good enough racer to take advantage of those things.
He is. But here's the other thing, and this is kind of what I was thinking about. Kyle Heath's going to restart. He is going to be 8th as they sort themselves out, lap cars to the back. He's going to be 8th. So unlike Greg Evans, he's in the top line. So he's at a natural disadvantage on the initial restart. Just from what we've...
Well, I know earlier in the night, actually early in the event, Kyle actually started on the outside and was making good passes out on the outside. But now Keith Ayers does not get a good restart here.
No, he didn't.
Now
I noticed
Kyle's going to have to go to the bottom and make his way. Yep, he makes a very good jump off of 2 here as he tries to get by Ayers, and now he's measuring up Milnes and Edward James ahead of him. James does have tires ahead of him.
Whoa! That was Michael Moquin, very slow on the top. Everybody's going to get by him.
Oh, Andrew Miller and Trevor Beans get into each other.
I was going to
Andrew
say,
Miller just washed up the racetrack and just pushed Beans out of the way, and now that opens the door for Corey Crandall. And Corey Crandall almost cleaned. Oh, we're almost 3 wide coming off of 4. Can't you imagine Kyle Heath and what he's thinking now?
Well, he's got 14 laps to go, and he's thinking, man, these 14 laps need to hurry up. The roll aids are out, Sam. Kyle Heath is going to swing it to the outside. He's trying to pick whatever line he can to follow. I was going to say Trevor Benz was leaning awfully hard on Greg Evans on that restart. They almost looked like one car with 8 tires coming down the front straight to get going on this thing. Heath is now 5th, but much like Greg Evans.
Oh, big wash up for Trevor Beans right there. Opens the door for Kyle Heath.
Yeah, he's trying, but the older tires, 23 laps old on Trevor Benz, and the damage on the number 3 just not going to let him fight back effectively. Next up in the hit parade is going to be Andrew Miller.
Andrew Miller.
Yes, sir. Heath is looking for the bottom, and Miller, he started to shut the door and said, I don't think I'll do that.
Wow, that car turned that corner fast, and he'll have a big jump on Dylan Godinez, and he'll be able to take 2 in 1 straightaway, right? Or excuse me, Edwin James, 2 in 1 straightaway right here. Oh, and that puts him in 2nd place, and now it's time to see if he can run down Greg Evans.
And this is where it gets good, folks. We have waited nearly 3 hours to see this battle. Kyle Heath, he just ran the quickest lap of the race. There is a car crab walking down the straightaway in front of the 2 leaders.
Oh, it's Michael Moquin. Oh, yes, his car is completely destroyed. Let's see if he gets it out of the way. He'll stay up in the top lane, and he'll stay out of the way of the leaders. But that car is completely crab walking.
You know, we're going to have to get on board. We're just going to have to get on board with it just to show the fans exactly what this looks like. That's Michael Moquin, and he's trying to make these laps because he's 3 laps ahead of Troy Carricker, and he's got a top 10 on offer here.
You better get back to the lead because here comes Kyle Heath.
But that's
he is right on the bumper. Now he's going to swing wide here and see if he can get a big run coming off the corner. And he will get a big run, but Greg Evans is going to race him into 1. Kyle Heath is on the inside, and now they're going to be coming off of 2. Door to door, Kyle Heath is trying to make the pass for the lead here late in the races, late in the stages of the Hotdog Stand 250. Greg Evans is going to give him a good race, but he cannot hold off those fresh tires.
Well, now here in just a few moments, those tires are going to equalize, and they may very well do so before the end of this thing. The other part of that is now that Greg Evans is in 2nd, he gets a chance to cool off his stuff. Knowing Greg, I think the bumper is probably out of the equation.
Greg's not the kind to do that.
No, I was going to say the bumper is not going to be in the equation. But if you're Greg Evans,
he will race drivers like he is raced in a normal circumstance. And Kyle raced him incredibly clean right there. And I know Greg, if it was the equal footing, he would race him equally as clean.
Well, that's what I was trying to point out to the fans. We're not going to see the bumper here. But can Greg Evans get back to Kyle Heath? There is a 15-lap differential in the tires between Heath and Evans, 16 laps actually. Is he going to have enough to make one more run? Kyle Heath that last time by, though, nearly half a tenth quicker. And
we have a caution. That will open the door to a green-white checker finish.
I just ate my last roll aids. What do we know the reason for the caution?
Well, yes, we see Ted Craven in turn 3 and 4, right ahead of, not too far ahead of the leaders, and he has spun that car out and lost it in the typical fashion we have seen all night long. and he immediately tows from that particular point, and he goes into the infield.
Yeah, I mean, Ted does it.
Oh, Nelly.
Now the tires are going to...
Drivers are actually talking about how they do not understand how Michael Moquin is driving the race car that he has on the race.
Well, and if you're Michael Moquin now, I mean, I hate to say it, you don't want to bring it to pit lane, and we'll get Michael Moquin up on the deal here. He's going to go back to the lead lap. I mean, I guess it's somewhat drivable. And he's going to be tail end Charlie. He can limp that thing around for 3 laps, and I don't think it's going to hurt anything. But that is just so unnatural to see it.
Michael Moquin is on the radio, and he's saying, "Oh yeah, it's still drivable."
That's something that you would see. That's something you'd see on a dirt late model, but the skew would be the other way, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Like I said, the good news is he's going to be tail end Charlie on the restart. He's not going to be in anybody's way. He can pretty much, as long as he makes 1 lap, he's 4 laps ahead of Troy Carricker. Michael Moquin would be able to claim that 10th spot. But my goodness gracious, that baby is used up, Sam.
I know, I agree with you 100%. This particular restart, as the lights are out on the pace car, it's interesting to note that Edwin James is on the same tires that Kyle Heath are on. And so now, not only does Greg have to work just to preserve his second position, but he also has to think about Edwin James, who is on fresher tires. Does Edwin James overdrive the corner? Does he push the issue on this last green-white checker start? And does chaos ensue from this particular point? It's been here all night, so we're coming to the green flag right now. We're going to find out.
Here they come. We'll see it from the speed shot.
Oh, Edwin James spins the tires.
Edwin James does spin the tires. Can Greg Evans get to the back of Kyle Heath one more time and make one more run at this lead? There's the 2 leaders. We're going to follow them. They're going to go through 3 and 4. If we get to the line, the next flag will end the race. There's Kyle Heath.
The next flag ends this race.
Yep, there goes Kyle Heath. He's underneath Barney. So the next flag is going to end it. Does Greg Evans have anything for?
Boy, he's standing in there on that last turn.
He most certainly did. He's going to send it into 3 and 4, but I don't think he's going to have enough. Kyle Heath is going to bring it off at turn number 4. Kyle Heath is going to come across the line, and he will win the Hot Dog Stand 250 here in the Black Magic Studios Grand National Series.
Wow.
It took overtime for Kyle Heath, but he did it. Mike Rigney, by the way, checks in and says, Sam, Rolaids are out. He's gone on a Prilosec.
He's on the Prilosec. Well, sometimes, it just depends on the occasion and what it calls for, Mike.
Oh, goodness me.
Now everybody just wants to take a big, huge, deep breath after all of that.
They do. I know I do. Kyle Heath is your winner tonight for the Hot Dog Stand 250, the Black Magic Studios Grand National Series. Greg Evans is going to be second. Edwin James is going to bring it home third. Nolan Milnes fourth. Trevor Benz will round out your top 5. And that is an amazing result for a guy who spent most of this race under repair. Dylan Godden is 6th. Ford Crandall 7th. Keith Ayers 8th. Michael Moquin comes home 9th. 9th! That car was 45 degrees off to the right. He drives it home 9th. Andrew Miller is going to come home 10th. In 11th, Troy Carricker. 12th, Jason Heaney. 13th, Joshua Siegfried. James Hodson, rough night for him, but he'll bring it home 14th. Braden Langley will round out the front 15. Klein, Owlett, Craven, Cofield, and Caleb Jones, the remainder of the top 20. In 21st, Sean Merriman, then Ryan O'Donohue, Brian Sharp, Kendale Paul, and Donald Green. Michael Kirk, J.D. Daniels, Jeffrey Hyatt, Eric Porter, and Sean Mott are the remaining finishers.
You really have to feel for some of these drivers. Kendall Paul, who has proven to be fast every week, week in and week out. He's got a lot of speed, and he's a great driver. And then, of course, to be out so early in the event. J.D. Daniels, who had a great qualifying run, and then he too at the very beginning of the event saw an end to his night. But then you have some of these storylines, as you were saying before, with Trevor Benz, who seemed to be involved with about everything on the racetrack this evening in one way or another, and he still comes back with a fifth place finish. Edwin James also was caught several of the mishaps that happened in the race, and he finishes on the podium. There's just there's a lot of storylines to go with tonight, and I know a lot of these drivers are relieved that this particular race is over.
I'm sure most of them are, Sam, and we're gonna talk to him. Let's see if we can find Edwin James here in the Discord. There's Edwin. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Edwin James, you've got Sam Crow, Mark Murphy in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy, sir?
Yes, I do. How are y'all?
You know, we're here, and showing up is half the battle. It was some work on our end. We fought streaming issues for most of the night, and you guys fought caution issues for most of the night. But at the end, it all got sorted out, and we were treated to a fantastic finish. Kind of talk to us about your day and how you wind up in third.
Just tried to stay clean, tried to avoid trouble. That's pretty much it. Tried to stay on top of the damage and on top of the tires and the gas. And yeah, just try to avoid everybody. There's a lot of craziness out there. I was lucky to keep it clean for the most part until I overdrove second to last caution. I was trying to keep up with the 2 and the 13. I just didn't have it. I was trying to brake and turn where they were, but I wasn't there.
That's okay. When it comes to Kyle Heath and Greg Evans, I don't think many of us are there. So no shame in that. Sam, what do you have for Edwin this evening?
Well, Edwin, I was just a little curious as because of all the chaos that was going on during most of the race, and of course mired into some of the positions that you were in. You got to see a lot of those incidences up close. What was the damage that you had to have fixed? What were you looking at as far as interval damages when you were going
Most
in for
of mine were
repairs?
1 minute damages. The first early in the race, I got a 1 minute damage. When I spun near pit entrance, somebody was outside of me, and I hit the wall there. That was another 1 minute damage. So I got really lucky with the damages. So it wasn't nothing crazy, but I wanted the car to be 100% in case I got into a situation where I had to beat and bang a little bit and use the car up. So every little bit counts. So and with the way the cautions were going and the way everyone was driving tonight, just keep getting it fixed. Stay at 100%.
Well, now you have a win at a bigger track, and now you have a podium position in a short track. We still have some very technical tracks ahead of us with Darlington and Bristol. How do you feel about your chances?
I am ready for Darlington. I love Darlington. Bristol, it's kind of like here. I'll just I'll do what I can there. But Darlington, I love Darlington. So I'm ready for Darlington. I'm gonna do an Ashton Lewis Civil Air Patrol throwback for the 46.
Nice. We look forward to seeing anybody that has throwbacks.
Yes. So I'll get that built this week or weekend, and I'll post it up in the middle of next week, right before the race. So yeah.
We most certainly do. And we're excited to see those, Edwin. And we're excited to give you the mic. Friends, family, sponsors, anybody you'd like to shout out to, teammates, the floor is yours, sir.
Yes, I'll shout out to FGR. They keep me straight, keep me going forward. Shout out to my wife. She's really supportive of all this. I appreciate that. And shout out to my parents and my brothers back in Georgia. I don't know if they're watching or not, but yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, AMA. Thank you guys up here at P1. Y'all do a great job. It's awesome. I love it. I get to go show everybody at work tomorrow morning. I finished top 3. So.
Well, it's certainly something to brag about. Well done.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys.
You are more than welcome, Edwin, and thank you for joining us in the booth. That's going to lead us into a second place finisher, our good friend Greg Evans. And Greg, it looked like tonight might be your night. You came and got the tires, made the charge to the field. Kyle Heath returned the favor. Kind of what was your thinking when you saw him come in to come down the pit lane?
Yeah, when he pitted with like 20 laps to go, I thought, man, he just handed me the race because I really hadn't been pushing it that hard throughout that run, and yeah, I that next to last restart, I kind of pulled out, and I just kind of was biding my time, saving my tires, and then all of a sudden it said 13's in second, and I thought, oh gosh, and then I tried to push it there, but there was just nothing left. It was just like a strategy race all night long. You didn't know when to pit, when not to pit because of all the cautions, and just yeah, man, he made the right call.
Greg, I was making a note during the race. I found it very interesting for me when you're easily, you and Keith were the class of the field tonight, and the fastest cars started at the front of the race, and you led the entire first half of the race and led a bunch of the majority of the laps tonight. I was trying to allude to our broadcasting viewers just about the psychology of races like this, where there are so many cautions and you're just chomping at the bit wanting to race. Can you just give us a little insight to what your thinking is, and how I know there was a lot of chatter going on at about lap 180. It started to get to you and Kyle. Can you give us a little insight about what goes on in your mind in those situations?
Yeah, my biggest concern at the time was I really had to pee. Man, I was begging for green flag runs, but man, it's the hard thing is getting in a rhythm. And you're trying to save tires, but you're not really running enough green flag runs to justify try to save anything. Man,
Do you think the cycles hurt the tires?
Oh god, yeah. There was there was a few times where I felt like I was barely pushing it, and it was just slip sliding everywhere. And sometimes it seemed like the car was just super tight, couldn't get it to rotate. It's like I said, it's just hard to get in the rhythm. And this track, above any other track on the circuit, is you have to get in the rhythm. And I think that's kind of what played into so many cautions, is that we just, for whatever reason, I'm not sure what all was happening in the back, but we just could not find a rhythm at all as a group. And like I said, it just makes it even harder. Trying to actually race and pass somebody, it's almost impossible.
Well, you made it possible, Greg, because you drove through the field on the new tires. You very nearly win the race. Second, no shame in second. You are the points leader. You scored a ton of stage points tonight. That's going to bode well for the playoff. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. The floor is yours, and your fan club is here, my friend.
Yes, sir, man. Got to thank Sim Magic, Sim Labs, Freightliner. Working on a few more deals, see what we can come up with. And like I said, thank you guys for broadcasting it. It's always more fun to go back and watch it when you win, but going back and watch it when you finish second ain't too bad either. So
you had a great race, Greg.
You did have a great race, and as a bonus, Sam is actually rather funny, whereas I am not. So there's some good jokes in there too for you.
Yeah, that sounds good. But congratulations to Kyle Heath, man. He made the right strategy. I thought that he called it wrong, but obviously he was right. And it's time for a bathroom break.
Yes, sir. We'll let you
stay for the interview.
Yeah, we'll let you take care of that, Greg. Congratulations on your second place run. We'll get you out of here, and we're going to pull in tonight's winner, Kyle Heath. Kyle, you've got Mark and Sam in the P1 broadcasting booth. Can you hear us, my good friend?
I got you.
So I have two questions before I turn you over to Sam, because he's far smarter than me. The first is the refreshment empty, or is it still has some left?
Oh, I already went through plenty of them, and I just relieved myself. So yeah, so I still got plenty more to go.
That was going to be my next question: is how badly do you need to use the facilities? But you answered that question. I'll let Sam talk to you about the race, because I know what he's gonna ask. Sam, go right ahead.
Keith, Kyle, you made the call of the race, but I'm sure it comes with this specter hanging over your head, wondering if you're going to have enough time and you're going to be able to get through traffic, which has proved to be a bit tumultuous tonight. So just walk us through that decision, because we were shocked that you pitted when you did. We understood why you were doing it, but we were just shocked that you did do it. So can you just give us a little insight about what was going through your mind at that particular point?
Yeah, there was a couple. I forgot how many cautions prior to that happened. I think it was a caution, or when the same time whenever Greg ended up getting black flag for jumping the start, which wasn't at his fault. And that next caution, he actually came into the pits and took tires. And before I knew it, after a couple more cautions, a couple more, runs on the tires, that he was already there behind me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait one more, just in case something happens. We had a couple laps there, green flag running, and I can tell that me running as hard as I could, my tires were kind of failing. And I know he had been running as hard as he could, just try to stay up there on me. Then the caution came out. I was like, you know what? We had 15 or so laps
20,
to go.
It was about 20 laps to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I got it. I might as well go. There's not that many people on the lead lap, and I know a lot of these drivers, they're not going to come pit. They don't order tires. I was like, what the hell? Let's try it. And I came in, got tires, and I, methodically worked my way up through the field. And we had a caution, and I was able to be up there with the leader and ended up getting the lead. And, I set sail. We had one more, caution to go. It was a green, white checkered, and luckily there wasn't any more because I was ready to get this race over with.
I was denoting to Greg as well that just simply because you guys were up front all night long, and just how it gets into your head when there's so many cautions. But you made it did not get into your head enough that you didn't make a sound call and brought yourself a win tonight based on that call tonight. So just a great effort on your part. It was really good racing between you and Greg. Your pass was incredibly clean, and I knew you two guys would put on a good show up front.
Yeah, I just really wish there was, more patience out there with everybody. I know there's different breaking points and all that, and bold moves going on. It's hard to get in a rhythm here at this track whenever you have caution after caution. Let the tires, play out. This track is a whole lot of fun whenever you have a long green flag run.
Agreed.
It really is.
It really does make a difference in the racing here when you have those.
But all in all, I don't hardly ever get to race here on Thursdays between my nephew having to work and my daughter playing soccer. So, this is one of my Thursdays off. I was able to come in here and, Lord and behold, it was Martinsville. So I already knew it was going to be eye pacing, it seemed like. So,
well, it paid off with aces for you tonight.
Yeah, it did. But, I was like, man, I'm ready to get this race over. About halfway through, I was like, man, I need to go to the bathroom. It was like one caution after the caution.
That's the theme. That's the theme of the night.
I said
if it was any other bigger track, I would have took a bathroom break. But at Martinsville, I'd been 3 laps down by the time I came back.
I said it. I said it, Kyle. I've had people ask me what this is like. Racing at Indianapolis, especially. And I said, if you want to know what it's like to run one of these things, go just sit in your car in the driveway for 4 hours. Don't move. Don't go anywhere. Don't go 200 mile an hour. Don't do anything but just sit in your car for 4 hours.
And sit there and drink water the whole time.
Yeah, it's
heavens. Yeah,
yeah, it's not something that most people would choose to do. So kudos to you for toughing it out. You get the win tonight. Friends, family, sponsors. The floor is yours, my good man. You've earned it.
Yeah, I want to give big thanks to AMA. It's fun. I'm somewhat defending champ. I don't think I'm going to really get to defend it this season. It was fun. Got to thank my teammates out there in FGR. Big thanks to my painter out there. I don't know if he's watching. Big thanks to everybody who actually sits there and watches the race.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
Martinsville was kind of, yeah, I know Martinsville was kind of grueling. You know, you would kind of expect good racing out there. There was some good racing out there, but it just sucks that it wasn't better racing from all the cautions.
Agreed.
But other than that, it's Martinsville and it's sim racing, so you don't have to spend no money on these cars to get them fixed. So it's balls out war.
Yes, the patience part of it, I made mention of it in the pre-race report. It's really it's a commodity here that few drivers take advantage of.
Yeah, I know early on I gave Greg a little shot because I was actually able to rotate a little bit better, and I kind of gave him a little shot and had to apologize for it because I
heard you
really
in broadcast.
I really thought I spun him because it seemed like I hit him harder than what it really was. But he kept it going, we kept it going.
Yeah, you guys really were the class of the field tonight, and you put on a good race, and your strategies all worked out for a 1-2 finish. So it was good job.
Absolutely.
Yep, thank
Kyle.
you.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Keep going fast, having fun, my man, and I'm sure we'll see you back up here in Victory Circle sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I hope there'll be another Thursday here soon coming up. I'll be able to get the race again.
All right, buddy.
We look forward to that next time.
Yes, sir. We'll
Yep.
see you then. That is Kyle Heath. He is tonight's winner. And Sam,
Well, Mark, guess what? Would you like to know the number of cautions tonight?
do I want to know the number of cautions? Is that the question?
that was my question. Would you like to know?
No, I don't want to know. We did have a number of them. In the end, though, Sam, we were treated to a dandy of a duel between two old pros. Kyle Heath comes off the winner. If you'd like to see more, tomorrow night, Sam and I are going to be right back here at the same time, the same bad channel. It's the AMR Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. It's going to be live from Martinsville. Now, the fun part of that is it's 200 laps instead of 250. So that's good news.
I can cut down to 2 cups of coffee.
Yes, and only half a roll of Rolaids.
Instead of 3.
And half a roll of Rolaids. Saturday, we're going to be off. Gary's going to be doing the Velocity Online race from Nashville, and so do invite everybody to check that out. That's Velocity Online Racing on YouTube. Sunday, we're going to have the Votive IndyCar Oval Series live from New Hampshire. That's at 7:50. Monday night, the IndyCar Open Top Split. They're headed to Phoenix. If you want to see something wild, watch 24 IndyCars try to tackle a mile oval the mile high banked oval at Phoenix. That's nuts. We're going to follow that up with the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night Top Split live from Gateway. That's going to be at 8:15 p.m. The Horizon IndyCar Series will join us on April the 2nd. They're going to be at Iowa. Concurrent with that, we'll have the Formula Indy Series, and they're doing their lone oval of the series. That series, Sam, they run Formula One rules in Indy cars. They're going to be doing their lone oval. It's at Nashville. That happens at 8:20 p.m. And that brings us right back here next week, 8:20 for the pre-race 8:35 green flag. The AMA Black Magic Studios Grand National Series is going to be live from Darlington. For Sam Crow, Mark Murphy, I am Mark Murphy. Gary Godso, the founder, everybody at the P1 Broadcasting Network. We want to give special thanks to all the fans. You guys stuck it out. You wind up seeing a tremendous battle between two very good racers, and so we appreciate your patience. We also do want to thank the first responders, the firefighters, the EMS, the police, the military, all the people that run into danger so that we don't have to. You have our utmost thanks and gratitude. Sam, we get to take a break till tomorrow night, brother.
I'm going to the bathroom.
And on that note, we will see you tomorrow night.